to look at LSU very differently and realize this is a fan base that if it's football season, we're all about football. If it's baseball season, we're all about baseball. Basketball comes. Every single sport, they travel unbelievably well to away games.
The numbers, I was really just focused on if we won the game or not. So that's really all I really cared about. I'm the same person I've been since day one.
College football is different than every other sport that there is. At Pro Dreams, that's right, Pro Dreams, the place you need to go if you are a fan of LSU football, basketball, baseball. They've got it all your memorabilia needs, including even today we found out on the stream, they have got Chris Farley's gym bag that he took into rehab with. They've got everything here at Pro Dreams. That's a good question. Welcome. Is there anything in there? That's a good question. Welcome back to the show, the boys from Tingle & Co. right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. How we doing, boys?
Appreciate y'all having us once again.
Oh, love it. And sitting to my right, this man right here passed for almost 11,000 yards at TCU, 2,000 rushing yards, 86 touchdowns, two-time All-American, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year in 2014, and finished fourth in the Heisman from TCU. Trevone Boykin.
Fourth is too low.
Thank you. He's looking like, damn.
Brother, I know who you are. Me and Dana Holger's in the same boat.
Nah, facts, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, I got a lot of fun stuff today. This is a very different atmosphere than we were expecting this week. Florida didn't do us any favors last week, boys. But still, big-time game. But Florida, LSU. But before we get into that, guys, your thoughts overall last week against Louisiana Tech, and then we'll kind of dive into exactly what you guys think happened last week.
Yeah, no, I mean, we previewed it with you guys, obviously, and the main takeaway of that game, and I'm sure everyone can kind of agree with, when you're going into a game like that, your main thing is everyone leaves healthy. You want everybody to get out of a game, gets an in-state opponent, a bye game, healthy, and that didn't happen for LSU.
The original pay for play.
Yeah, two key injuries happened in that game, but I mean, obviously defense impressive, offense left a little bit to be desired, and the high that LSU was on after week one kind of brought back down to earth after week two.
Yeah, he kind of resorted back to the mean. I don't want to call it a disappointment, but it was one of those where LSU had a chance to make an absolute statement. You come off the Clemson, and Clemson's not doing LSU any favors at the moment. Good Lord.
Not today.
But you come off that Clemson win, wherever LSU was looking for that week one win. It was so paramount that they built it up all year, get that 1-0 start, and then you're like, are they the most dominant team in the country? Garrett Nussmeier, Heisman. You really didn't get any of that. And like Noah said, the main thing was not the main thing. You wanted to leave with a guy that you went out to go get for a reason, and Braylon Moore wanted to keep him healthy. And then your specimen, your 6'7" tight end, which I'm sure you'd appreciate having, like easy jump ball, throw the alley-oop. He goes down, but all reports are indicating that Braylon Moore will play today. Trey'Dez Green still a little bit of a doubtful, as they have to do the report now.
Game time decision.
You might, if it gets dicey, you might see him jog out there for one. Like, go up and get it, big fella. But other than that, I mean, it's a win's a win, but it was not the statement that I think LSU wanted to make.
Yeah. Well, I'll ask you. I was going to ask you this. So, especially when you were playing at TCU, you're going into a game with somebody that you're absolutely supposed to just dog walk.
Right.
As a quarterback, what are you trying to do in that game when you know you could probably play bad,
right,
and win? Yeah, but what are you trying to accomplish?
I think you want to look like if I don't know if you want to look like whatever your ranking says. You want to go in and dominate opponents to the point to where look like the team you're supposed to be. I try not to play down to people's level. I think that's one of the main things. But I know one thing I know about Brian Kelly, like over the past few years, his history has not really been having his team ready to go. And fair. I think from what they're saying is kind of like a similar situation, is trying to get those guys ready to compete and know how to play LSU football. I think for me, it's just a mentality and a mindset. I get out there on the field each and every time, bro. I'm trying to dominate. I don't care who you are. You can be my grandmother. I'm trying to dominate for real. That's me. That's me though.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's me. So like, I grew up like that. I guess a quick story of why I became that way. Playing Pee Wee football, I took a guy for granted one time because I was bigger and stronger and faster than everybody. And he laid me out doing hitting drills. That was the last time I took anybody for granted. On everything I love, it was the last time I took anybody for granted. I try to dominate every time I step out on the field. So if we're playing an opponent that I know that we're better in, we need to look the part.
Yeah, and this year college football is just different. I mean, we just watched Georgia Tech win.
Right.
I mean, we watched South Florida, do things that nobody saw South Florida doing. But I will say this, last week, and Noah and I were talking about it in the production meeting, knock on wood, LSU defense is back.
Yeah.
There's a swagger with LSU's defense that I think those of us that watched LSU in like the mid-2000s, that's what we knew. Hit hard, play fast, play physical. That seems to be back. Held Louisiana Tech to very little yards. So when, that's what's really good when you have a team that at the time is being known for high-powered offense. If your offense isn't clicking, the fact that you've got a defense that can go,
yes,
hey, we'll get you some cushion.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll let you get you into that second half, and hopefully you figured it all out. Time of possession was, a little bit different. What did Louisiana Tech do though, or what that was causing LSU problems, or was it just LSU just couldn't click fast enough?
I think Louisiana Tech's front seven was impressive in that football game, and I think we watched the film going into the Tech game of their first game against Southeastern here in Louisiana, and the defense was flying around. That's one thing we talked about, was that they were aggressive, and I just think if you look at that football game, maybe third, fourth play of the game, Nussmeier underthrows a ball to a wide open receiver, gets tipped up, intercepted. And that moment, we talked about it on our show with Rohan Davey and Kevin Falk, of just momentum of a defense that flies around and wants to be aggressive like that. Now they have momentum on their side of, we just came into Death Valley on a Saturday night, picked off the Heisman frontrunner. We're in this game. And the defense played inspired from then on and really did cause some trouble to, more importantly, LSU's front line. Like, they had the offensive line shook. Braylon Moore's injury definitely played a factor, where the defensive front for Louisiana Tech definitely was able to get some push and some momentum in the game.
Yeah, in that first quarter, that first drive, really, it was almost Murphy's Law for LSU. First play of the game, the guy that you went out and, like I said, paid for play, that you obviously felt like you had a deficiency at center, somebody that showed his salt against Clemson whenever he was able to call up protection and made the run game look different, made LSU perform differently. You lose your guy immediately. Like, if you're a quarterback, whenever you lose your center, that means something to you. It's like the whole kind of game changes. Then you throw an interception on top of that. Louisiana Tech's ears perk up a little bit, like, oh, you don't want to give them an inch and give them any inspiration to be able to go into, like, oh, we're playing, like, the way we're playing is going to work. And if you give a team that's like upset bound a reason to continue to believe, and while they're there and like, oh, we can win the football game. If Nussmeier completes that pass and it's a 75-yard touchdown, third play of the game, like, we're all right. This is exactly what we thought. LSU goes on defense, 3 and out, get the ball back, score again. Then it's a completely different game. But what happened was the antithesis of that was underthrow, tip ball, picked off. Now Tech has momentum and the ability of, like, oh, they lost their center. Let's go attack, because you've seen that on film whenever you had DJ Chester, who played 13 games last year, but whenever he played against a Florida team, him and Paul Mubenga together, they created 20 pressures, 29 pressures, 7 sacks. Like, that was something that they, I'm sure, have seen, and we're like, let's attack that. Let's go get after that. And you saw LSU struggle with everybody has a plan till you get punched in the mouth. Tech punched LSU in the mouth, and they held steady, but it wasn't the performance that they expected to put on the field.
But is that sometimes good? When maybe you play a team punches you in the mouth.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent it is, and like kind of what he's saying. I still think the fact that they came through and pulled off a win shows that they still have a championship pedigree team. I think would it be in the first game of the year? I'm looking at Nussmeier's stats, and I got him picked as one of my quarterbacks on my podcast. I got him picked as because he's a Heisman frontrunner. That comes with a lot of pressure as well. I think the way he's been able to handle the pressure will be able to continue to handle the pressure, will be able to let us know how he's going to be able to just continue to ball throughout this season. But like he's saying, I still think with them pulling out a 23-7 win, it's an in-state rival game.
Yeah.
Like one thing I know about kids that come from the certain, like they all know each other. They played against each other in high school, and now they're probably going to college.
And they all want to play right there.
Right. And some of those guys that's at LA Tech probably wish they could have made it to
Right.
LSU. So they're playing with a little chip on their shoulder that they didn't get that offer or they didn't necessarily get that look. So when these kids go into this game, they're fighting. Like you said, they punched LSU in the mouth, but it's a great thing that LSU responded and still came out with the W. That just lets you know they're still a championship team.
And we saw teams that week. We saw teams this week be in similar situations that LSU was in last week and not be able to dig themselves out of it. And I think you guys were talking about it. That was a little bit of kind of the knock maybe last year on Garrett a little bit is like, hey, pressure gets like, can he make the right decisions? It's tough as a quarterback when you get back in the huddle and stuff's like not going. It's not going bad,
Right.
but you just
not
know
clicking.
like, hey, how are we not getting all the breaks?
Yeah.
Like, and being able to calm everybody down on the offense and go, guys, we know how to play this football. Like,
I think what you don't want is for him to feel that type of pressure when, like you said, the last game of the season. You were one, like I would rather for you to deal with these type of things now, because when you go into Norman undefeated, if not, you're going to need everything that you got. You're going to need everything going into that last game of the season, going against Norman. If they're both undefeated, that's going to be a pressure game. So as long as he's dealing with it now, I think that they'll be great.
And from what we've seen from Nussmeier and what, like you said, Heisman frontrunner, it felt very much like they were trying to kind of maybe put him on a pedestal a little bit, where they put in Chris Hilton, Nick Anderson, and took shots deep, and they wanted to be able to, like, maybe this is a show us what you got type of game. Right. And so the game plan changed as soon as Bradley Moore got out the game, because you don't have your center, now you don't have your tight end, and everything kind of shifted like beneath his feet. And it became, let's go back to what we did last year. And it was all on Nuss's shoulders against that. But maybe that wasn't the game plan going in, but you have to give him a little bit of credit to be able to adjust in that moment.
That's the
and
main
like
thing
just
with
get a W. Let's get a W, because LSU, obviously they have struggles running the football. And whenever you don't, like, I think the center does a lot of that for him. And whenever that was out, it looked like the 2024 LSU offense, where Nussmeier, you go win us the football game.
Yeah, because even when I was in school, it's crazy. They don't put that, unless you're in a pro-style system, you're Wisconsin or something like that. Unless you're in a pro-style system, they don't put that type of knowledge or pressure on the quarterback to go out there and like be able to point out pressures. That's normally all on your center. So him losing the center is huge when it comes to, like, I seen that he took 3 sacks in the game. Him losing the center is huge. He has an interception. I think all that plays a part. I think when you have your guys that you've been practicing with, that you've been familiar with the whole entire offseason.
In the game plan, you practice the entire week. Changes.
And the best thing about sports is you have to learn how to adjust.
Adapt.
If you don't adapt or adjust to, like you said, you're going to get hit in the mouth. And if you punch back, swing back, that's all. And they punched back and they swung back and they came out with the dub.
And another piece of it to me is kind of like with Nussmeier, and we talked about his struggles in 2024. It was protect the football. 3 interceptions against A&M, threw 1 against Alabama. Like that, those turnovers started to happen. And it's almost like it's almost like an addict of like, okay, I've been told can't do this, cannot, like, I can't allow that to happen.
Don't pick up the spoon.
First play of the game, he falls back into that habit. Now it's like, oh, like back on the wagon. Like now I got to fix this, because the one thing everyone's told me I cannot do,
I just did.
Just happened in the 3rd play of the game.
And he became a little bit of like a check down Charlie. Like you could see he has a little tendency to, he fades back in the pocket. Whenever he's confident, you can tell. He'll step up, maneuver, be able to find his way and find throwing lanes, because the arm talent's undeniable. But whenever he gets into bad habits, he drifts back in the pocket, and then he becomes happy feet, get the ball out my hands, and he becomes indecisive because he doesn't want to do the big thing. The one thing is, like, you don't do this anymore. And he's like, I did it again. Like rub the nose in it. Like, stop pooping in the house.
And I wanted to ask you, one of the issues with Nussmeier that causes some of that pressure and getting sped up is interior pressure rather than edge pressure. Like, so as a quarterback,
in his face instead of outside.
Instead of being able to step up in the pocket, he's being forced to roll out.
Step back or roll
as
out.
a quarterback, what is that like, the difference between the two?
Well, they played a little different.
A little bit different.
We played a little different, but I mean, playing the quarterback
teach him how
is a little bit. I think you just make the plays you need to make. I think we practiced every scenario when I was in school. So when it came to rolling out, it was nothing that we didn't work during the week. Whether we got pressure up the middle, from the side, we work scramble drill as quarterback no matter what.
Played your strengths.
And so does the receivers as well. And so as long as y'all are all on the same page, getting that pressure up in your face is cool. As long as you're getting outside the pocket, making plays, but he has to be smart with the ball. And throwing it away is not the worst thing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of young quarterbacks struggle with just throwing it for no reason when they feel a lot of pressure coming into them. And that could have led to the first pick. I don't know. But him just getting outside the pocket and making smart decisions would be the best thing for him. Yeah. You're going to get pressure, right? They're going to win some, and you're going to win some. You just try to get more dubs than they do. But at the end of the day, like, he just needs to find, like, I'm going to tell you what my quarterback coach told me when I made it to Seattle. Throw it to the open fucking guy. Just throw it to the open guy. Like, just throw it to the open guy. You don't have to worry about anything. I don't care how you get in the ball, just get in the ball, right? And that's the thing about playing quarterback. It's like hunting in the wood. It's like hunting squirrels when you got lions, tigers, and bears chasing you. And that's what it is, bro. It's not an easy position. I try to give some of these QBs grace. I literally try to give some of these QBs grace, bro, because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Don't get me wrong, it's hard. But when you were born to play the sport and this is what you do, we expect these things out of you. So I get it, especially when you're a Heisman contender.
Yeah.
It comes with the position.
Comes with the position.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's look at the quarterback matchup that we've got today. Obviously, I put on here Heisman heat check because I do think this is a Heisman heat check for Garrett. I think he showed a lot of resilience last week, showed that he could rally the troops and, he could win a ball game that doesn't need to – there are points in that ball game where I just thought, hey, man, they didn't have to be pretty. Like, just get out of here.
Or don't fall into the trap that everybody's falling into in week 2.
And then we've got DJ Lagway. We were talking about it on the Waterboys pregame show this morning. Something is not right with DJ Lagway. Something's not right. He doesn't look like the same quarterback. There's something with either the shoulder or the calf or something. Also, he's got a coach that's probably coaching for his job right now.
How about pressure?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure because your entire if you're the head coach, you're Billy Napier, your entire future at Florida rides on the guy that's taking the snaps. And so, it's two quarterbacks that going into the season everybody was really high on. We had DJ Lagway on our board of top 5 quarterbacks in the SEC above Arch Manning. I just want to point that out. We had that in April.
Then Oklahoma comes out quick, doesn't it?
Real quick, yeah. Anytime I can talk bad about Texas, we'll make sure to do that.
It does.
It does. Every single time.
He doesn't hesitate. He don't hesitate at all.
Obviously they lost to South Florida, which in and of itself, by itself, sounds terrible, but South Florida plays good football, apparently.
2 best wins in college football right now.
Unbelievable.
Right now, seriously.
23 for 33 for 222 yards, 1 TD. He had an interception. Longest throw was 32 yards. QBR of 58.8, not great. It just seems like something is Florida just doesn't have it. I just wonder if this is the game where, because this is LSU Florida,
anything can happen.
It just goes out the window. When it comes to the quarterback matchup between these two, obviously I think Garrett is the better quarterback, but what do you have to be careful with Lagway on?
Yeah, I think, we went in depth on the quarterback matchup yesterday on our show, and I think when you look at the hype, preseason hype on these two guys, it's very different. With Lagway, he's this physical monster, has all the tools, and it's a lot of like almost potential-based hype where it's like, if he can put it all together, this is what he'll look like. Nussmeier led the country in passing yards and looked great, an entire season he started. So it's kind of 2 different hype trains. But to me, I think with Lagway, it's just the fact that he will take what's there consistently. Like Florida's offense is very much, it's a pro-style offense. They're going to run the ball a lot, underneath stuff. But if, last year against, I went and watched LSU Florida from 2024 multiple times this week. And he would hit these 3 big home runs, and that's what beat LSU. If he can get a matchup he likes, or if
they set you up,
the coverage breaks down, and he can make the throw. He's got touch. He's not just this big body. I'm going to zip it in there all the time. But I think the thing I'm most interested to see is Florida's front against LSU's offensive line, and if they can keep Nussmeier upright. But to me, the thing that, and I talked about it a lot yesterday, was the way Blake Baker and this LSU defense, Harold Perkins, Whit Weeks, they put Cade Klubnik in a blender week 1. And that's an experienced quarterback going into his 3rd year starting, has played the top-tier talent. DJ Lagway is going to his first SEC road start Saturday night in Death Valley. And if they did that to an experienced quarterback,
on the road,
this is DJ Lagway, who First SEC road start, didn't participate in fall camp, and it's been a rocky start up to this point. I'm intrigued to see how he looks against this LSU defense.
That's what I think people are kind of missing, because you saw what Florida win their last 5-6 games in a row with DJ Lagway whenever he was inserted as the quarterback. People just missed the fact that he was out for 8-10 months without playing football, and then he comes back like, well, I expect to see what I just saw.
Right.
And he's like, he's still getting his feet underneath him. You have an offense that is very much predicated on him making all the right decisions and being able to run the football. And then whenever they're not, he takes, like you said, he takes what they give you, and he has, like, his completion percentage is extremely high, but the shots come, and then if they miss on those, that's when they struggle. But he had yards per attempt last year was 10.6, which is one of the highest in the country. And then this year it's at 6 yards an attempt. So they're not being able to manufacture those big plays. And that's all kind of predicated on Lagway having, you talk about Nussmeier having a lot on his shoulders. Lagway's carrying that offense.
Yeah.
And they have a running game. They have an offensive line that should be good. They have a running back that is extremely talented. It just feels like, I don't know if they're trying to get Lagway kind of settled back underneath his feet and kind of figure out the football game again. Whenever it's live bullets, it's different.
Yeah.
And then if they can kind of figure those things out, like, they're still extremely dangerous.
Right.
It just hasn't all come together. It just feels so disjointed right now.
Yeah, and obviously, we watched today Clemson loses another one that just has you kind of scratching your head a little bit. It doesn't. I was telling you, I said, man, we needed, as I guess we call surrogate LSU fans now that we've done 2 games. I wanted Clemson to win all the way out.
Me too.
Yes,
because I'm still in BCS era of we beat a team, want them to win all the way out, strength of schedule. Obviously, Clemson is not good. There's problems at Clemson. There's something weird. There's issues there, but I don't know if that changes what LSU did at the Death Valley Light. At all.
I think that LSU kind of put the playbook out
of
how to get
agree.
to Cade Klubnik. And you could speak to this whenever they didn't have their left tackle today. They're missing their number 1 wide receiver. Like, all of those things come together. They don't really have a run game. And so it all gets put on Klubnik, and you can tell he's scrambling. LSU sped him up, and I don't think he's slowed down since. Like, his processing speed is, I have to go make a play. And it's not go through my reads, go through my progressions, take what I can. It's become it feels like his hair's on fire every single play.
Yeah, that's a good point, because for people that don't know, your jump from 2013 to 2014 at TCU was legendary. 2014, you have one of the best seasons in TCU history. You lit the Big 12 on fire. At what point in the season in 2014 did the game slow down for you, or was it
how much of that offseason?
Yeah,
that's
what
I was going to say. I think it happened the offseason before. We brought 2 new offensive coordinator guys in, and they pushed me like no other. Like, it was doing summer workouts. They were there. Doing when I was dead tired, they were there. They were pushing me the entire time. And so once they made practice so hard that the games were easy. Our practices were brutal. We competed in and like that's an older team, seniors, a bunch of juniors and seniors on the team. We competed week in and week out, and that's so when we went out there to the game, it was so easy. It was fun. At that point, it was fun. And so even with this LSU team, I think they have a ton of talent. From what I'm hearing, I have a ton of talent on offense. I have a ton of talent on defense. I think it's up to these coaches and to put them in the right position as well to be able to be successful. And I don't think everything that my success is just not my success. I have people behind me. I have teammates. I have things. So when he says, when you're losing guys like your center, when you're losing receivers, when you're losing running backs, and people you've been practicing with the entire time, that tends to be able to slow our offense down. And that gives pretty much the advantage to the defense, because now you're playing with guys that you don't normally play with. So but to take it further, I think just being able, like I said, our practices were brutal. We literally, I'm a firm believer in your practice the way that you play.
And it's obvious something that just changed at LSU. I mean, as fast as that defense plays, and as hard as they play, there seems to have been a mindset change on the defense. And we were talking. So I was talking to somebody last week. I said what I'm encouraged by with LSU is there's still room for improvement.
Yes.
Still winning ball games.
Yes.
Right.
So if you're one of these needs to peak at the right time thing, which by the way I'm am on record as saying I think that's a bunch of horse junk. I don't think that that's a thing.
What, peaking at the right time?
I don't think it's a thing. I think if you're good, you're good.
I think
Once you get rolling,
I think you can be talented in the beginning and you don't know what you have. Like you said, referring back to that 2014 team, the year before we went 4-8, right? The next year we win the Big 12. Same team, same everything, right? So I think you go in and pretty much we didn't know what we had going into 24. Like we knew we were good, we knew like we could compete or whatever the case may be, but we didn't really know what we were until I think after the Minnesota game. We actually played like a Big Ten opponent, and it was an easy dub. So we didn't think of it that way. But going back and looking at the film, like that could have been a transitional moment to like y'all really don't. I think we end up losing. We beat Oklahoma, and then we lose to Baylor the next week.
That in there.
My bad. We beat Oklahoma. And we lose to Baylor the next week, 2 top 10 matchups. And it's just like we didn't know how good we was when we played Oklahoma. Right. So when we made it to Baylor week, we knew exactly what we were. We peaked at the right moment. Oklahoma game was the peak. I still think we could have went in and beat Baylor as well. But that was like, okay, we know what we are now. When we first started, we didn't really know who we was. And so by week 3, week 4, like you're saying, peaking at the right time, you can go on a 7-8 game win streak. As long as you one of those top 12 teams at the end of the year, you got a chance to win a national championship.
Y'all got shafted. 1 loss and get the Peach Bowl?
Everybody. First year of the college playoffs was 4 teams, bro.
Yeah.
4 teams. We went from 3 to 6. We beat Iowa State by like 50.
Yeah.
I'm talking about dusted, bro. Like dusted. I think we're waiting on the you know how the teams sit like March Madness. Like, do we make the tournament? You know, so we're all sitting there, and before I didn't go because I stayed like back at home. The whole team went to I guess like the football facility. And so I'm sitting at the house, and when they said we was playing Ole Miss in the Peach Bowl, I don't think I talked to the coaches for like 2 days. I was pissed. I was pissed, bro, because we went from 3 to 6. Like I had the picture on my phone was a national championship trophy. Like that was my goal. That was what I set up to do. The password on my phone was Heisman. Like that is what. So like this is a mindset for me. Like a national championship trophy, trying to win the Heisman, and then like that happens. It kind of crushed us. But we went in and played an Ole Miss team,
beat the dog out of them.
Yeah, beat them, and that was our college football playoff game.
Yeah, I think your point. I see what you're saying. I think that if you're LSU, that's encouraging.
Yeah,
maybe you haven't figured it all out yet. No, you're still winning ball games.
And I think kind of. At you asking like what's changed, why is it fast forward? Like to his point of the lock screen being a national championship trophy, those things like LSU, Blake Baker coming in, reinvigorating this defense, changing the way it's structured, but he didn't fully unlock it last season. You know, there were games where you saw things that went well. Ole Miss, they played well, but he wasn't able to be as fast and as free as he wanted that defense to be. Really because of the back end. They didn't have the DBs. You saw Lagway was able to pick spots on different guys, and some of those games where they just couldn't stop the pass. The safety play was very poor over the last couple of years at LSU. And what's changed is they went out and they got guys, one, that are talented, two, that have that mindset that Trey was talking about, where it's like Mansour Deland from Virginia Tech, A.J. Halsey from Houston, to Marcus Cooley from NC State. They went and got guys on the back end. DJ Pickett, #1 corner coming out of high school. Yeah. Got guys that can play and allow Blake Baker to say, you know what, since I have those guys in coverage. I mean, you look at the Clemson game, they were one-on-one press man all game. Like just straight up, my guy's better than yours. And what that allows is Harold Perkins, go get the quarterback. Yeah. You know, Whit Weeks,
play sideline to sideline.
Like Patrick Payton, those guys on the end, Bernard Gooden on the interior, like go be free, do what you want up front, because we got the back end figured out. So that allows Blake Baker the comfortability to say, I know who I have now. I've got the tools. I've got the guys.
I can run my defense.
I can run my defense.
And that's what I think you'll see again, because there was a big stigma last year with LSU being able to stop a running quarterback.
Right.
Lagway can do both. He chooses to play from the pocket, but when he breaks contain, like he's still an athlete and a weapon out there. But LSU couldn't stop anybody that, I mean, what is it? Marcel Reed. Marcel Reed. I was going to say Marcel Brooks. Shout out LSU legend. Only play went to TCU.
Yeah, TCU.
Went to TCU, played wide receiver and defensive end.
Let's go.
But
go
like
Frogs.
LSU wasn't able to stop. Wasn't able to stop a running quarterback, and you bring in you get your first test against Cade Klubnik that is mobile and wants to run, and you see how they're able to shut him down. His longest carry was 7 yards. And that, I think, kind of, you talk about like flipping the switch and like inspiring yourself and like, oh, I know what we have. That goes for the defensive players as well.
Yes.
Like, I trust this scheme
Yes,
now.
it does.
And so we can play free. And LSU being able to play that way is near to my heart, because you talked about the early 2000s. That's where I was like born and bred in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
From 2003 to like 2012.
Yeah.
LSU was known for defense. Like, you came in late and had to play against LSU, and it was probably like rather not.
Yeah. they had got like I said, I played against, I think it was 2012. I think it was 2012. We played in the college football kickoff classic at Cowboy Stadium. I think one of my guys was there too. Played corner. He ended up going to the Eagles. What's my boy name? I know y'all know. Played corner. He went to DeSoto High School.
Oh, he started as a freshman.
Mills?
Jalen Mills.
Jalen Mills.
Yeah.
So Jalen Mills,
the Green Goblin.
Yeah. Jalen Mills is my boy, man. Shout out Jalen. But I mean, LSU has already had talent all over the field, man. Playing those guys, like playing in the SEC. Period. You're going to play a physical game, man. And I know for a fact LSU brings that. Even like I said, when I played against them, they're going to hit. They're going to be physical. They're going to run the ball. They knew how to run the ball at that time with Hill at running back, and then you had Odell and Jarvis at receiver. So when you're talking about guys like that, the history of the program, and just continue to bring that, I think that they, like I said, bro, I think they have a great chance this year, even with the adversity that they're facing. I think it's going to be challenging. This is what championship teams are made of. You even look at Kansas City. Kansas City is not somebody you look at that's right now as a Super Bowl contending team right now, but
you know,
we all know at the end of the year that they're you have to put them in a conversation. And I'm not saying the same thing about LSU, but I think that they can be one of those top 12 teams at the end of the day, even with the few little mishaps and the injuries. I know they're going to probably get some guys back as well, but just staying consistent. And I think even for Nussmeier, I think the thing for him is not letting the outside noise get to you. I think just continue to play your game, continue to be you. Don't try to change for anybody. Just go out there and ball, take what they give you. Same thing y'all saying about the Florida quarterback. It seems like they run the offense through him, right? And he seems like he's pretty efficient to what he does. When you say that he will take what he give you, and the few shots that they do take, they need to hit in order to be able to win those games. And so long as LSU defense don't fall asleep tonight, I think they'll be straight.
And to talk about the LSU defense one more time and highlight one name specifically, is the player wearing number 7 every time when you look at an LSU defense and LSU field.
Who wore himself?
Who's wearing 7, right?
Who wore himself?
Because what happens is, like,
real talk.
LSU, like Trey was saying, you got athletes all over the field. Whoever's wearing that number 7 jersey is usually just a little bit different,
better than everybody.
You know, and Harold Perkins, like, this defense, Blake Baker's the linebackers coach. It is built around number 7. Like, you look at that Clemson game, Cade Klubnik's having nightmares about number 7.
Agreed.
Like, he's the best athlete on any field he steps on. And when you give him the help of a front 4 that can get the quarterback to move out of the pocket, or DBs that can take care of their side of the ball and are just one-on-one, he doesn't have to play coverage, and he can just be free and roam and be multiple in the ways he can. Tonight is another game where I expect to see number 7, Harold Perkins, put the country on notice once again. You know, I had my stock his freshman year when he wore 40.
I ain't sold it since.
And I hadn't sold it since, and I'm excited to see that stock go up once again tonight in Death Valley.
Because LSU can have a couple different athletes, and it happens every now and then, and they usually wear 7. Like when you saw Tyrann Mathieu, you can have 10 people play defense that they're aligned to do, and you follow the rules. If you 7 on defense, you can kind of do whatever you want. Harold Perkins has that freedom to be able to, if you're going to spot, if you're going to rush, he gets to make the decision, as opposed to last year and maybe even 2 years ago when they kind of put him in a box and said, play assignment football. Let an athlete go be an athlete. If you're the best one out of 22, go be special.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the rest of the SEC, because it looks a little bit different. It definitely looked different after last Saturday. We didn't get a chance to chat about it after the games. It looks a little bit different as of us going live today. It looks a little bit different. With the wins and losses in the SEC weeks 1 and 2, what does it look like now with the contenders in the SEC?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of going into this season, LSU felt like they were in a position where they could make that run, because there's so many question marks with some of these other powerhouse teams. Georgia, first year starting quarterback. Texas, starting quarterback is his first year. Alabama, same thing, question marks there. So the powers that have been in the SEC for the last decade, besides Texas, who just came in last year, but like the powerful teams, that big three of Texas, Bama, Georgia, they have question marks. They don't know who they are or what they're going to do. So LSU felt like this is an opportunity. LSU can go make something happen. If they win week one, and you saw it, they win week one, boom, they jump to, they're the number one ranked team in the SEC, highest ranked team in the SEC. And throughout the weeks you've seen, Bama drops week one. You've seen Florida drop week two. Now Tennessee's winning 21-7 over Georgia right now. Like there's so much changing because of NIL transfer, those things. But really it's just, to me, it starts and it ends, and I'm sure you'll appreciate this, around the quarterback. If you have a returning veteran quarterback, you are on a different level than another program, even if you have the same everything else. And so Gunnar Stockton, nothing against him. Ty Simpson, nothing against him. Arch Manning, nothing against him. It's your first time going and playing the game. At this high of a level, it's just different. And I think for LSU, when you look at the SEC, they're in such an intriguing position because they have that. They have the other pieces. And I think the hype has only grown because you've seen teams that looked superhuman, Alabama, Georgia, they look different year in, year out. Now they look human.
Yeah.
And so LSU just means like all you got to do is take care of 1-0 each week, and the opportunity is there for the taking.
I think that's the best thing about college football too. Is like every week is crazy.
It's the best.
Right? Every week somebody's falling.
About 10 hours.
Every week somebody's going up. So I think that's the best thing about college football. Like, and the difference between when I was in school compared to like a lot of these right now is you only got to be one of the 12.
Right.
You ain't got to be so like.
Oh, y'all were in.
You can still have a loss and make it.
Yeah.
Right. So even if they start off undefeated and maybe lose to Ole Miss at Ole Miss or Oklahoma at Oklahoma, I still think they have a chance to be one of those 12 teams.
Yeah, it's very different. I think going into this year, there were a couple of coaches that said maybe we've seen probably the end of an era of an undefeated team. Maybe we've seen the end of an era of a one-loss team.
Right.
This may look a little bit more like the NFL where you can have a couple of losses.
Parity.
Yeah. And, we asked for parity for a long time. Now I think some fan bases that were screaming parity are like, all right, now hold on a second. Can we backpedal on the parity thing? But it's fun when you see a South Florida. It makes it really interesting when you've got teams that can go, hey, we're not playing in a big conference. We only have to circle 3 or 4 games in our entire schedule.
Right.
We just got to prepare for those 3 or 4. We could sneak ourselves into a playoff.
That feels like they eliminated Boise State week one. Like Boise State was probably thinking the exact same thing. We're going to be that team that gets that automatic bid. And now USF went and took that from them.
Yeah.
And so they scheduled one of the harder schedules in the country for no reason. They didn't have to do any of that.
There's no point doing it.
But they're here now and they're playing it and they keep winning. But this all goes back to how college football has changed, whether it be transfer portal or NIL. Like LSU wouldn't be in the spot they're in without being able to buy in and do what they're doing in the NIL front, the transfer portal front. LSU didn't pay for players. Yeah. Like they weren't like they would do under, they got the good ones, but now
smart money.
Yeah, exactly. Money. Yeah. McDonald's is a great place to go. But whenever you got into, this is how where the college game is going. And if you care about your program, you need to be invested. You saw Brian Kelly put up $1 million of his own money to be matched by, if I put up $1 million and it matches, I'll put up another $1 million.
Yeah, Brian did the same thing in Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly. But that's where it's going of coaches are making it's like, I'm making $100 million. I'm asking people for money. It's like, brother, where's your check? Yeah. And so you've seen that change because LSU put up, I believe, in the first 3 years under Brian Kelly, it was like $8 million total. And then this year it's borderline $18 million for one roster. Yeah. Don't tell me you're all in if you aren't going to be all in. Right, they're all in on what they're trying to do. And you can see the difference between Blake Baker's defense and you surrounded yourself with a quarterback that's coming back. Don't think he didn't get paid either. And then you bring in an offensive line to help him. You bring in skill position players to help him. Like LSU, they know what's on the horizon after Nussmeier leaves. It's not a championship team. This is your championship year, and they've paid to make sure that goes and happens. And that's why it's so paramount that you can win a game against LA Tech by giving up 7 points because your defense is that. And now you can go and win different ways because of the skill positions you've put around you and what you've built around. Like they went and paid for a punter.
Yeah, when did that start?
Unheard of.
But it's like, where are we soft?
That's
Let's go
unheard
fix
of.
it.
Yeah.
Where are the days of Mike Leach pulling a kid from the stands?
Right.
It was like,
No, seriously. Seriously.
it's very interesting because
Never
I
got to
think,
throw that midget.
yeah, I think we, God, I miss him so
The
much.
bad
I miss him so much. Shout out, Coach.
Salute
Leach.
to the
Yes.
pirate.
We were talking about it. Yeah, it's kind of fun that right now, if you are a team with a veteran quarterback,
Yeah.
everybody's understanding that, hey, with the transfer portal and it taking a little bit longer because guys aren't on campus very long, it's taking a little bit longer to get things moving. Boy, you got a veteran quarterback. It
Yes.
covers up a lot of ills. I mean, we don't have to keep like slobbering all over him, but he is right here to my right. 2014 TCU. I mean, Oklahoma, we threw everything at him. The problem is he's been in the program for 4 years.
Knew every answer.
So it was you had to play everything perfectly, and then if there was even somebody,
Even if you got it right.
yeah, like he's going to make the throw, or he and the receivers have been together for long enough now that like,
Or I'll just shake all 11.
yeah, that's
Do it myself.
and I think it's what we're seeing with Garrett Nussmeier, we're seeing it with Mateer, we're seeing it Beck with Miami.
Right.
Yep.
The veteran quarterback are covering up ills that you might have at the beginning of the year.
And that's what I was about to say. There's two different ways to go about it. Either you have the quarterback already, so you bring in the pieces around him, or you're
Bryce
Miami,
Underwood.
or even last season Ohio State. You've got everything else, so you go get Will Howard from Kansas State
Yeah.
because all you need is that veteran piece.
Yeah.
So it is the utmost importance to have a veteran quarterback. But there's two ways to go about it. You either have everything else, you need him, or you've got him and you need everything else.
I mean, it couldn't highlight more how important or how it is the most important like position in sports.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
facts.
Like it's unbelievable because people are like, oh, you like quarterback. When you think about it, there's in the NFL one of 32 jobs in the world that are allowed to do this. Like it's not easy, and if you're bad at it, people will let you know.
Oh,
But if you're good at it, you shine like nobody else. Like it's one of the hardest positions to play in sports, and it's the most important. And you're seeing that with college football. It's like I will go pay whatever it takes to get one because if we don't have it, we don't have a shot.
You don't have anything without a franchise guy, whether it's college or whether it's the NFL.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're absolutely right with the two ways you go about it. Either you have your guy and you try to build around them, or you have all the pieces and you need to go find your guy.
Right.
And a lot of the teams in the NFL are all. I mean, when we think about franchise QBs, it's probably only 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 of them at the most out of 32 teams. So you're talking about 22 other teams who are looking for a guy.
It could have a great defense.
It could have a great defense. Could have all the pieces. They're looking for that one quarterback. And like you said, it's the most important position in sports.
It's crazy.
I don't see any. I mean, you got Clayton Kershaw. He's pitching, but he gets nights off. So he has a reliever.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's a little bit different when you're talking about other sports but like playing football, playing quarterback is like you said, one of the most intense and hardest positions in sports as well.
Because if you don't show up, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah,
No matter how good your team is. I mean, look at Arts Man in week 1. I mean, they're ranked number 1. They're going in. He has all the pressure up on him in the world. From what I know, he has all the pieces around him to go be successful.
Yeah.
It's up to him to perform. So that's still like an element of it. You can still be good, and you still got to go out there and perform as well.
Let's talk the rivalry with Florida. So I crunched some numbers, 34, 34, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So today, somebody is going to come out ahead in this rivalry.
Not going to be a tie today, I don't think.
I would hope not. Florida.
Can't end in a tie,
those days are over. Somebody's going to get one.
Somebody has to. Series started in 1937. Obviously, last year, Florida wins 27-16. I think I've got that score correct. Yes. The two most respected environments, I think, in the SEC, and I know if there are Tennessee fans watching, they're going to get really mad about this. I think at night, there are two places you do not want to have to play, Death Valley and the Swamp.
Yeah.
Now, maybe during the day, the Swamp is not what Tennessee might be during the day. Maybe that's a little bit different, but I think at night, there are two places that you do not want to play, and it's Death Valley and it's the Swamp. But speak to just a little bit of this rivalry with Florida that isn't like really a rivalry, but it's 34, and 3.
Yeah, that says it perfectly because, look, I grew up in the era where you couldn't buy one off of Florida early. Like from the 90s when Spurrier was there, they got one game and it was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. It still talked about LSU being able to pull off an upset against the Florida team that was number 1 ranked team in the country. LSU's like, that's where Death Valley kind of came alive, and it became this thing where you have Kevin Falk on the cover of Sports Illustrated. They storm the field, take the goalpost. That's how big of a deal it was to beat Steve Spurrier in Florida. And then it became this, you're the 2 best teams in the SEC, 2 best teams probably in the country, and y'all get to have a heavyweight bout against each other. And whenever that matchup happened, it was like the best game I've ever been to in Tiger Stadium, 2007, LSU, Florida, Tim Tebow, Jacob Hester, like they're going at it. And that place was, you could tell that there was something different in the air. And I've always said this, I said it last week, there's times when it's Tiger Stadium and when Tiger Stadium turns into Death Valley. And that's one of these games against Florida at night, whenever you have, and granted, Florida just lost. If they didn't, this place would be a little bit different, but I still think there's that rivalry that you talk about. LSU's always kind of searched for one, but when Florida's right, it is as intense as it gets. It's LSU, Alabama. It's everything that's on the line, because that can decide what you do for the rest of your season. And I feel like that's one of these, for LSU at least, it should be on your mind to be 3-0, 1-0 this week, but it's against a team that you should hate.
Yeah.
Go Tigers.
Me growing up, I'm a little bit younger, so my life of college football,
Bro, how old you is, bro?
23.
23.
And so it was, I hated Alabama was the team that I loathed with my entire heart, because they embarrassed
it's Florida for me.
They embarrassed my team week in, week out. Saban just completely dominated LSU at Alabama. But Florida to me is one where in 2017 or 2018, Burrow's first year here, I'm watching on the TV, throws the pick six in the game, Florida steals one. Or Darius Geis getting stopped at the 1 yard line.
Goes the wrong way.
Going the wrong way. But then in 2019, 2019, you see LSU, Florida, Burrow, Trask, Saturday night in Death Valley, this massive game. So it was this back and forth that to me has created the rivalry. Like LSU, Alabama, it's a rivalry to a sense because of Saban. LSU, Florida is a rivalry because
the field.
We get you, you get us. Like it's
34.
Right, 34, where it's like trading punches of LSU went on a stretch of dominating them from 2019 up until last season was the first time Florida got one back. They do it in the swamp, kind of rejuvenates their season. And LSU now got to get that get back. Saturday night, Death Valley, top tier quarterbacks. So to me, Bama was the team I grew up hating, but Florida was the truest rivalry for me because it was back and forth. And you take one, we take one.
You can go swinging. Yeah, you can go to 2003. LSU wins the national championship. Who'd they lose to? I think it's the last time Florida beat LSU in Death Valley in Tiger Stadium, a day game. LSU can only score, I think 7 points. I went to that game, and it was LSU was riding high. Like they just came off of, like they're rolling into an undefeated season. They're the number 1 team in the country. Florida comes in and takes that from you. And then that's the BCS era. Is like, is that going to ruin your season? Everything that you went up for, and LSU held them to, I think it was 13-7. Like LSU's defense was there. It was just one of those where it's like they can always sneak up and get you. LSU 2007. Like Florida was one of the number 1 teams in the country, and that game was Florida was winning that game up until the 4th quarter. Then Death Valley woke up. USC Stanford, come Dan Bournet over the speakers announced USC's upset by Stanford. LSU and USC always had this weird thing from the 2003. You get the AP trophy, we get the crystal ball. And then so they announced that score, and everything changed. Like the stadium stood up and it didn't sit down again. Like there's those little moments in time where Florida just has like little pockets with LSU that's how rivalries are created.
And on another note, I look at 2021, I think was the year. Or 2020.
Yeah.
2020, LSU, Florida. Florida's got everything in front of them. Like they're looking at a college football playoff berth. Kyle Trask was on a run that was special. LSU's got a true freshman, Max Johnson, coming in that game. Had no reason to win the game. Like zero reason to win that football game. And it comes down to, I think it was Marco Wilson, Cole Taylor's shoe, cleat, throws it, flag, puts LSU in field goal range. Cade York in the fog drills a field goal. LSU, like there was nothing in that season for LSU. Like implemented a bowl ban, no reason to win the game. Nothing was left. Season was over.
Ruined Florida's season.
But you ruined Florida's season. It put a smile on your face.
It feels so good. Yeah. It feels so good. Quick score update, just in case you're not watching it. Tennessee 21-14 up on Georgia. 10 minutes left in the
You can see what a home game does. That
Yeah.
Tennessee was rocking. They were rolling. What was it, 21-3?
Yeah, quick.
21-7.
21-7. Yeah,
Quick,
you could
quick.
feel it. They went down the field and scored immediately. Like that. That's what you get when you have these games at home.
Yeah.
Just like the SEC and college football in general. That's what makes it the best sport in the world.
Yeah. I think I've never played at Death Valley at nighttime. I would have loved to, right? I think I would have loved that experience to come here and see like the stadium at nighttime. And one thing I know is it's an atmosphere more than anything. And with LSU being at home and the bad blood, the tension in between the two teams. I mean, we're probably going to see during pregame if it gets a little chippy. I'm hoping it gets a little chippy.
It should.
I'm really hoping it gets a little chippy during pregame.
Come stop on the eye.
Yeah. And so I just want to see a great game. I want to feel the energy in the building, like you said. With Florida coming in here, and yes, they did lose last week to Georgia Tech, I think it was, or whoever they lost to, but I still think they're a talented team to be able to come in here. I don't think that you should come in here and sleep on a Florida team by any means necessary. I think they should still go in here and try to handle business, and then let this crowd just feed off of y'all energy. Just come in and, like you said, these are your home fans. These are your people. I mean, at the end of the day, the team is probably going to feed off the fans, and so. With this being a night game, I kind of feel sorry for Florida on the cool. I don't see them pulling this game out at all.
Well, and I think that my favorite thing, and I know this means nothing except to us as fans, but it is two of the best uniforms in college football.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Stadium lights at night. You got the Florida orange and blue. You got the purple and yellow, like
Gold.
Yeah.
gold. That's
It's
my
okay.
fault.
That's
That's,
all right.
Hey, that's how you know he's from Oklahoma.
Yeah, because I would be really sensitive if you guys were like, that red and white. They'd be like, Crimson and cream. Hold on a second. We're not Ohio State. There is just something about it. It's kind of got like a Hollywood factor to it, where it's a big game where if you're like a college football fan doesn't get to catch very many games, you're flipping through and you're like, oh, it's LSU Florida. I'm gonna like check that one out. So there'll be a lot of eyeballs on it.
Tebow
now.
Yeah, made him cry.
Got his phone number? You got his phone number still?
Yeah, Tim Tebow's
I got that voicemail a bunch of times.
And so, it's going to have some juice to it either way.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of players, former LSU players that, if they can, they're back here to stand on the sideline. And Florida's probably got the same deal. Guys are going to want to come in and check it out. I think it's going to have a lot of juice at the beginning. On one way or the other.
Yeah.
Either you're going to see Florida look like deer in the headlights, or they're going to have do the typical, let's script the first 15 plays and see if we can't get something working early. But yeah, I think.
So what would we say LSU's or Florida? What's the game plan? Like,
I think
with the guys that are hurt on LSU's offense, like what is the game plan now? Because you're not going like this is a SEC opponent now. You're not playing Georgia Tech. So like what's the game plan now? Seeing that we do have some guys that are out right from last week or whatever, whether they come and play tonight or not.
They ain't 100%.
Yeah, they're not going to be 100%. So playing a better team, essentially from what we think, Florida is better than Georgia Tech. What's the game plan for LSU to win tonight?
Yeah, and I think LSU's game plan is to not let Florida's, because Florida's going to come in. Their game plan is going to be our front seven, our D-line, our linebackers. They've got Caleb Banks. They've got Tyreek Stout. They got dogs on that front seven, and they're not as good on the back end. So they're going to try to get Nussmeier sped up. Go get him. The same thing you did last season. The way you won the game. Like Florida, to me, they're going to try to win the game the exact same way they did in 24, where it's 29 pressures, 11 TFLs, 7 sacks, like
you're in hell.
2 forced fumbles. Like what they did was they just consistently never let Nussmeier get comfortable. As well as he played, they ran the football well, turned the football over 2 times. LSU dominated that football game. No reason to lose. 29 pressures, 7 sacks, and a couple coverage busts that Lagway took advantage of. I think it's going to be the same exact game plan.
Yeah.
So for LSU, it's going to be keep Nussmeier upright. Yeah. Do things offensively, even like whether you trust your offensive line or not, the same way you beat Clemson of swing pass, quick screen, a slip screen, tunnel screen, all these RPO, these different things to get it out of his hands, put it in Barry and Brown's hands, put it in Aaron Anderson's hands, put it in Xavier Thomas.
It's almost like taking the pressure off of Nussmeier to have to be the one to make the play.
And then when that Florida secondary that to me I have not been impressed with watching them this year, and they look at the sideline, and they're going to make a mistake. So if you go underneath enough, they're going to, Jordan Castell or Bryce Thorne, they're going to be looking in the backfield at the underneath stuff, and then there goes Chris Hilton. There goes Nick Anderson right by you.
Yeah.
Or you're able to make those plays. And I think for LSU, if you can have a scheme offensively, because really, and it's crazy to sit here in 2025 with the way the LSU defense has looked the last 5 years and say, I have no worries about this defense. The only thing maybe they haven't gone up against a real rushing attack yet because Adam Randall at Clemson, wide receiver, turn running back, hasn't been impressive. La Tech, obviously, just a different level of competition. So Jaden Ball is going to be their game plan offensively, I think, because there's no film of LSU stopping the run against a real attack. So I just think if they can keep Nussmeier upright, force Florida to be one-dimensional of can't run the football, got to throw it, LSU wins pretty easily.
23, 18, 24, what? What are we saying the final score?
Hold on.
Okay. I'm like, what are y'all saying we're going to get into tonight?
So LSU fans have a stereotype. I don't know if y'all know this, but the rest of the country, like we have a stereotype.
What is it?
Yeah. You don't want to hear it. It's not good.
Please.
It's not good. No, my personal experience with LSU fans has been amazing.
That's what I hear.
That we win you over in person.
I've never had a bad
He
experience.
said we win you over in person.
He's got to be here.
He's got to be here.
I'm telling you, I've never had a bad experience, whether it was the Men's College World Series, whether it was football games, whether it was basketball games. I've never had a bad experience with LSU fans. Florida fans, however, I'm assuming as they have a stereotype. As we don't know. My stereotype for Florida fans is that anytime I talk to one, they just say the name Team Tebow, and if you're an Oklahoma fan, just shivers go right down the back of your spine. Because unfortunately, every time we've played a national championship since 2000, it's been against a team that is like the top 5 team in the history of college football. That's how we've always ended up. But what is the stereotype with Florida fans coming from LSU fans?
I'll let you take it. Lloyd's got much more experience in the
trash,
the mess. So I'll let you take the floor.
I've never been to Florida. I've heard it is quite the sight to be able to go over there. Florida fans, and I feel like in the SEC, there's a bit of like a modicum of respect for each and every individual, every team. Florida has none of that. Like I remember 2019, LSU rips the heart out of Florida. Great play design, Joe Brady. You have Clyde Edwards-Helaire in motion, runs a post. You have Jamar Chase behind him down the sideline, touchdown, game over, slit your throat, like end it. And then LSU chomped him out the stadium. And LSU doesn't show disrespect that often. Right. It's because that you ain't showing us any respect. Game on.
Yeah.
And after that game, I'm waiting outside for an Uber in 2019. He just flipped a cigarette at me, a Florida fan, and is like, what you gonna do about it? I was like, buddy, you can't hurt me right now. Your season's over. Like, I'm riding out. Like, do whatever you want. But that's what they'll say. What do they say? You go low, they go to hell.
Yeah,
that's what they want to do. And I was like, but I ain't
like
digging.
that.
Like I'm here, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And so there's no respect factor at all. I think LSU stoops to that level, unfortunately, because like I say, you go low, we go to hell. LSU can do that too. And this is one of the few where it is exactly like that. It's just bad blood.
Yeah.
I think that piggybacks off the
rivalry.
This being a rivalry. It's not just the players on the field; it's the fans as well. So I mean, that's what makes this game what it is today. Like going into Death Valley, seeing Florida come in here, even though they're going to come in here trying to win this game. They lost last week.
You got to coach with this job on the line. Essentially, like I'm coaching for me.
Yeah, most definitely. So I like I said, I'm expecting a good game, man. I'm expecting them to come in with all the energy in the world. I'm expecting Florida to come in with energy in the world. Like I was telling y'all before this started, bro, like I love the way games. So if I'm Florida, I'm really loving this right now because we really have nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's true.
We have nothing to lose. Everything is on LSU side to be able to come out here and perform in front of their fans at nighttime and not disappoint. And like you said, the game plan for Florida, they know what it is already. Like they did it last year. They're going to try to come in and do it again this year. So with that being said, I think if my game plan for LSU would be just to take advantage of the things that they do. If you get one-on-one match, like I was always trying to find my one-on-one matchup. I always thought players instead of plays. So if the game is on the line, I'm going to my best player, not necessarily my best play. And so with that being said, if LSU just comes out and play LSU football, Florida comes on. I don't necessarily know how this game could end. That's the toss up in the air to me.
I guess you've never really experienced this, but I'd imagine you've had guys on your team come in that you weren't sure how they are, but now with the transfer portal, like you see LSU add, or maybe a guy that was hurt, like with Chris Hilton for LSU, like hasn't really played a lot of football, but when he's played, he and Nussmeier have connected well.
Yeah.
You bring in a Nick Anderson who scored 10 touchdowns whenever he played, and it was like, okay, you're an elite football player, but we don't have any connection together. And you bring in Barry and Brown, another elite. Whenever you have different types of players like Xavier Thomas, Aaron Anderson that you can hit underneath, but you also have that deep threat that you maybe haven't connected with. Yeah. Like, which one do you feel more comfortable, or when do you start going after that?
I
Is that when it's matchup based?
That's when you come to matchups, right? Like knowing attributes of receiver. Like I had a guy who ran a 10-something, 9-something in the 100. I knew what he could do. I'm not throwing him the same ball so knowing your guys is good as well. And knowing what they can and can't do, like their strengths and their weaknesses as well. But I think like I said, the game is going to be long. They're going to make plays. You're going to make plays. I think don't try to go out there unless the game plan calls for it, but let it come to you. Like, don't try to go out there and do too much, because that's normally when players get in trouble, when they try to do too much. If they just go out there and just play LSU football like I've seen over the history of this program, I think they're going to be fine. But if they get out there and Florida punches them in the mouth, drive one, I would just want to see how they respond.
I'm just interested to see how LSU approaches this because of the dominant, like what the defense has shown, and how they kind of command their offense, whether it's like you said, like the Clemson style of offense where they went short screen game, get out of your hands in less than 2 seconds, or do you try to attack the secondary that has proven to be vulnerable? Like they're going to have to see a decision at some point.
Strategic for
you just have to do, like, I don't think LSU has an identity yet in terms of what they do on offense.
Yeah, I mean, and they're not alone. We were watching a lot of football today.
It's still early.
It's week 2. I was just about to say this, week 3 of college football. Right. Like it's not too many teams right now who do have an identity. Right. To be quite honest with you, and until midseason comes and so you get some guys back from being injured, you're not going to know what you look like until the end of the end. Right now, a lot of these games, they matter. Don't get me wrong, but to me, it's not necessarily how you start. It's going to be how you finish.
Yeah, it's what you remember last.
Yeah, it's what you remember last. So just, like he says, try to go 1-0 every week and just be consistent in what you're doing. I think y'all will come out with the dub.
Let's talk favorite moments in LSU football history. So I pulled some of these together because you guys.
I got one. I ain't even go here. I got one. I'm gonna let y'all go first. I got one.
But you take it. Go ahead.
Okay, mine was Odell in the back of the end zone with the one hand catch for the kickoff return. Yeah. It was something I had never seen. So that's
casual too.
That would be my crazy one LSU moment, because I didn't go to school here, so I don't necessarily know about the. They probably have things they can probably tell you. The only thing I can tell you is from what I've seen on TV. But that would be my crazy LSU moment. I mean, I watched Chris Lee way back in the day. Obviously, I know who Jamarcus Russell is. Like, so I've watched the history of LSU. I mean, I'm a college football fan. If you want to become something, you have to watch the greats in order to do that. And I've watched LSU football. Not necessarily saying I know every player who's came through here, but for the most part, like, I've had great athletes, great people, Hall of Fame players who come through here and play football. So the main thing, but like I said, I'm an OBJ fan. I get into it with my homeboys all the time between Odell Beckham and DeAndre Hopkins. So I take Odell every time. But what he did, his career here at LSU, man, that would be my one moment.
That offense he had to run in was unbelievable. It was him and Jarvis Landry running mirror routes with 5-step drops.
That would be my LSU moment.
We're gonna throw it 20 times, and y'all better go make a play.
You got guys like that, bro. Like I said, great talent on the field like that, bro. Like, it's hard not to win games.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 2003 was rough for Oklahoma. You know, we go to second national championship in just a few years. Big game Bob and Sooner Magic is happening, and then 2003
Marcus Spears happened.
Yeah, we run into Nick Saban, who wasn't necessarily Nick Saban yet,
right?
Like
first one.
They wanted to fire him in 2002.
Yeah, and we thought, well, we got the coaching matchup here. Like, we won one in 2000. Like, and it was rough for us, but gave you guys your first national championship in 45 years. I look at the 2007 BCS national championship with Les Miles at the helm. LSU becoming the first team with 2 losses to win a BCS title, beating Ohio State 38-24.
Shout out to the backyard brawl that's happening today.
Yeah, I mean,
without that game, LSU ain't in it.
100%.
Daryl Revis returns a kickoff or a punt back. Unfortunately for McAfee, he missed 2 or 3 field goals and changed his life, I'd imagine. But I remember it was around like Festivus, if you've ever seen Seinfeld, it was that time of the year. And we watched the LSU game in the SEC championship. You start a Ryan Perilou, like, do you want to speak to the talent that LSU used to be able to garner? You start a true freshman at quarterback at the SEC championship, and every LSU fan didn't bat an eye like, he's the better player. Yeah. And he comes in, throws 2 touchdowns, and you win an SEC championship, and you go, well, what do you get from it? And you have to have an unranked Pittsburgh being a top 5 West Virginia team, and then it's like LSU might backdoor their way into a national championship. Then you go in and win it and dominate Ohio State. Yeah. Like, that's definitely a seminal moment. And to talk about just LSU moments, I'll go back to Ryan Perilou in this stadium in 2007. LSU goes 5 for 5 on 4th down. Like, you had the Mad Hatter, you had the Les Miles, and it was one of those games where it's like you kind of needed everything. Jacob Hester, who's been in here, hosts a radio show in Baton Rouge, fake field goals, all of it. Wow.
That's crazy. I love Les Miles, too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Well, because you could just be sitting there watching like field goal, like, I don't know if you can even do that.
I love it.
And just LSU at Florida, he did the same. It was like, is that a forward pass? Like, I didn't know if you can do that. Like, I don't know if that's a rule. But
between
like,
him and Steve Spurrier in the SEC,
they were so wild.
Les Miles, Steve Spurrier is crazy.
I remember when that was the news. Obviously, we were Big 12 at the time. Is Les Miles leaving Oklahoma State to go to LSU? I don't think anybody in the Big 12 went, well, that's not going to work. We were all like, oh no, okay, that checks out. Yeah. That guy's a nutball, and he's going to fit in Baton Rouge really well. This is going to work.
I don't know who made whom, but somehow it worked, and LSU won a ton of football games, but a lot was left to be desired with him. I still don't know how he recruited, because I don't know how that type of athlete related to Les Miles in any way whatsoever. But he got the talent here, but then he got burned a couple
less with more.
Yes, but exactly. And then there was a 1 year where a couple interceptions started to happen with Jarrett Lee, had to be thrust into the game because the aforementioned Ron Perilou, unfortunately, he didn't do anything wrong. He got kicked off the team, and so you had to start a true freshman or Andrew Hatch from Stanford. It was one of the two. And then he threw a lot of pick sixes, and it started. So he just said, we're going to run the football and play defense. And you had so many special athletes.
Did that for a decade.
Then it worked. You just win 9 games, 10 games, maybe backdoor national championship.
It used to trip me out the most when growing up watching LSU.
They were the only people playing 1940s football.
Yeah, it used to kill me. I used to be like, bro, they recruit some of the best talent in the country.
Why are you coming here?
Why? And so when I asked, Joe Burrow winning that national championship in, what was that, 2019?
Yeah.
When he won that national championship in 2019, the first thing I thought of was this is what LSU's football is supposed to be looking like the entire time.
Yeah.
And so that's what I never understood. Yes, you got a Leonard Fournette. Don't get me wrong. I understand what it looks like, but imagine putting a Leonard Fournette and spreading the ball out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You running Alabama you playing like Alabama ball, just handing it off to Leonard Fournette 20-some times a game. And he's going to be a phenom. We know he is, but it's just, I thought LSU, like I said, recruited some of the craziest talent that I ever seen, and for them to run a pro style, imagine if Jarvis and Odell were playing with somebody like Joe Burrow. They have numbers like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase numbers. So
trust me, brother, I know.
I never understood why LSU didn't go to a sprint offense years before Burrow got there.
And we used to, obviously, we're from the Big 12, and we used to hear it from SEC fans all y'all do is play offense, and I go, but I'm telling you, man, it's a lot of fun. It is so much fun. And then when I knew that things were changing in the SEC was when Nick Saban decided to start recruiting quarterbacks, really recruiting quarterbacks. Bringing in guys that were athletes at quarterback, and you started to kind of see the spread and the ball, and I thought this is going to be a problem if the SEC buys into what Big 12 is doing, and we know they can play defense, and we know they're good in the trenches.
It's trouble.
And now I look at it, and it's almost you have to now. You don't have a choice because you've got so many good offensive coaches in the SEC, whereas before, I'm not saying they couldn't coach offense, but it wasn't like the calling card of it. It was kind of like games would be in the 21-14.
Yeah, it was defense. It was defensive football.
And meanwhile, like look at Big 12 box scores when he's at TCU. It's
Right.
like 45 to 17.
I used to look at the SEC scores and be like, bro, I know the fans was bored.
Yeah,
What was that?
no, we love that defense.
That Auburn game was
then
7
you
to
think
6.
about the Big 12, like, we scoring touchdowns left and right. Ain't no defense being played. Like
61-58 to Baylor. Like, if you told that to an SEC fan, be like,
Hey,
how many games did y'all play?
Yeah.
I mean, Jamarcus Russell at quarterback for LSU. They lose to Auburn
9-7.
7-6, 9-7. So like,
Yeah.
he even scored double digits.
Never had a game like that in my life.
Like Jamarcus Russell at
Dwayne
quarterback.
Bowe, Brandon LaFell, Jeffrey Henderson, everybody.
Scored one touchdown.
They threw it 15 times.
In his era, that would have meant somebody on both quarterbacks on both teams got
That's
hurt.
a first drive, first quarter type stat.
Yeah,
that's
7
12 minutes left in the
9.
first quarter.
Yes.
In the
Yeah.
Big 12.
It's 7.
With about 8 minutes left in
Yeah.
the first quarter, it's 7-9 in the game.
Right.
No, we had 1 second left.
One
They were just
second
trying to
left.
commit to another first-round pick. Craig Davis down the sideline. He doesn't get out of bounds in time. It's
That's
like,
crazy.
oh, now you want to throw the ball. Whatever.
Tell me, obviously, I know
First
you,
overall pick, Jamarcus Russell.
There you go.
Let's not
Which
talk
Don't let him
about
throw it.
By the way, I loved him in college. I loved him in college. I
Wrong situation.
It's not the right situation in the NFL. Tell me a little bit. Obviously, this one's going back a little bit. 1988 earthquake game.
All I know is lore.
Is it? Am I wrong? But like when you Google like greatest games in
Terrible football game.
Yeah, no,
Talking about 7-6. There was no offense in that football game, and that's why people were so excited.
That's why
that
the
there's an
earthquake
earthquake.
happened.
Yeah, it needed points.
It's like a
They're like,
release.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's crazy.
2011 game of the century. Number 1 LSU defeats number 2 Alabama 9-6 in overtime.
There you go. 9-6 overtime.
Yeah.
9-6
Overtime.
What year was that?
2011.
I feel like who was on that team?
Dude, Mike
That
Leach was still in the Big 12 throwing the ball all over
Yeah.
the field at Tech in 2011.
That was the Tyrann Matthew year. That was the Tyrann Matthew. number 7,
Yeah, he scored all the points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that's right. Yeah, like you said, whoever's in 7 is that guy.
Yeah.
So-
I went to that game in Alabama, and that's the first time I've walked into an opposing stadium and felt like this is what it must be like when you walk into Death Valley. It was absolutely on tilt. And when they say game of the century, I don't think that is hyperbole in any way.
No.
You had
NFL
22 people
talent.
playing. They had 30 NFL players out
Yeah.
there. It was
Yeah.
insane. You could hear it. And it's like, if you brought a 12-year-old to that football game, you're like, son, do you want to play? And you hear that, like, I think I might go pick up a baseball.
Yeah.
Like, it was violent.
Yeah.
And they had players everywhere. It comes down to Nick Saban running a trick play and also could never find a kicker. And that burned him a little
Yes.
bit.
Never
I
understood
alrety
that.
wasn't the nicest to him. So
I never
there's some
understood
stories
that.
about him maybe making them
Nobody's
take their
nice
pants
to
off in
kickers,
front of the team.
Nobody's nice to kickers. Man.
No,
That's the way
but
it is.
then it comes down to a trick play, Eric Reed, and if you hear it on the broadcast call, like it's caught, picked, what happened? But then when it got him down to 1, instead LSU gets the football, drives it down, and is able to get it to overtime because that's how LSU played.
Yeah.
But when you'd say like pins and needles, nobody sat in that stadium.
Oh my gosh.
It was as good of an atmosphere as I've ever been a part of, and that's saying something for where I've been for the last 25 years of my life.
And for me, I was a 9-year-old watching that football game on my grandfather's floor in his living room because my parents are at the game. You know, I'm at Papa's house watching the game, and I mean,
Take
like,
the kid.
just
No,
to
for
look
real.
at where that is the game that jump started me falling in love
LSU.
with LSU football. Like
Okay.
9-6 dogfight.
This is how
And it was
football
just like
played.
it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It was the
Meanwhile,
best.
like fast forward 4 years later, Baker and Patrick are
Yeah,
gunning it out.
2,000 yards combined.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like
Right.
who's going to win? Whoever runs out of time.
Whoever has the ball last
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
That's the crazy.
And then, like, that's how stubborn LSU was, and it still worked when LSU went against Texas Tech
Yeah.
in the bowl game, and it's like Leonard Fournette for 280 yards,
Right.
and Patrick Mahomes is like, "I'll show you 400,"
Yeah.
and it's just like this is the type of football. Whenever it's Big 12 versus SEC,
Right.
like we used to relish as an LSU fan, like. Yeah, y'all come play. Come see if y'all can do it like
Yeah.
this.
We
And-
want to.
And
We
they're like,
love
y'all gonna
it.
play
We
y'all style,
want
we're gonna
to.
play
We
our
want-
style.
Yeah.
And
It's
yeah.
like we're about to turn around and hand the football off.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Like
Yeah, I mean,
No
if
tags.
you ask Bob Stoops, the beating Saban in the Sugar Bowl, it didn't matter.
yeah.
According to Nick, it didn't matter to Alabama. And Bob has the famous quote of, seem to matter to those guys in the moment. They were all
Yeah,
playing
playing
awful
hard.
hard. It's a lot of fun. Let's do a player spotlight real quick because I was watching the game back. I told Noah I watched last week's game like 3 times, and a guy jumps out to me, and again, not you guys' knowledge. The name, obviously, because he's a huge recruit, but Harlan Berry got one last week for 43, and it was kind of – I tried to equate it to, something that I saw, and this is not a great comp. So Oklahoma fans, if you're watching this, please don't come after me. But it had that like first time Adrian Peterson broke one off where you went, hold on a second. This guy is different.
Is that 22? 22?
Yeah.
He's nice, bro. I seen he had a crazy run.
Right.
Tell me about Harlan Berry.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a recruit, first off. He's been the number 1 running back in the country. He's at St. Martin's Episcopal in New Orleans, so he's an in-state guy. They get him to recruit, to commit around the same time, like they had Underwood committed, DeCorian Moore committed, Harlan Berry. So number 1 quarterback, wide receiver, running back, other 2 split out. So then you're sitting on pins and he was like, we got to make sure Harlan Berry gets to campus, make it happen. Yeah. And so he's this kind of electrifying running back in New Orleans, Ward 25, the way he played. So instantly everyone's minds, Reggie Bush, because New Orleans Saint, Ward 25. And so he's a weapon in the pass game, and it's been a question of, are they going to redshirt him? Are they going to play him? And then you see that on last Saturday where he makes something out of nothing twice, dead to rights on a tackle, breaks out of it, goes. Then it looks he's got 3 defenders around him, shakes out of it again. To me, and I was talking about this earlier this week, when it comes to LSU offense, they need to be able to run the football.
Yes.
And so with the offensive line, if you cannot get push, what you need in the backfield is a playmaker.
Yep.
You can have straight line runners all you want if they can make the hole for the running back to run through.
Yeah.
You need a playmaker in the backfield, which is what Caden Durham can be, but it's what Harlan Berry is. And that play is a playmaker making a play. So if LSU is not able to straight line run, create push up front, get a hole for your running back, they need somebody to go make something out of nothing. I think 22 can do that.
Yeah, Harlan Berry was one of those. LSU, if you're an LSU fan, if you follow recruiting like you used to, where it's you circle that guy, that would be special if you got him to campus. And then once you realize you bring Frank Wilson back, you have a recruit out of New Orleans, it's a wrap. But everybody's mind goes to rest in peace, Joe McKnight, but JT Curtis had a running back that looked just like, see?
I used to watch Joe McKnight too.
That high school highlight is crazy.
Nice.
See, Joe McKnight was one of those ones that LSU was how can you not get him? He's in your backyard. Yeah. And
he ended up going where?
He went to USC.
Yeah.
Yes, he
USC?
did.
Yeah.
Joe McKnight did go to USC.
But that was the Reggie factor.
Yeah. He looks like DeMarco Murray a little bit. He reminds me of DeMarco.
But there was that he plays like Reggie Bush, and everybody, if you grew up when I did, it's where do you get that?
Yeah.
Doesn't exist. And then you see Harlan Berry, and it feels like a blast from the past. I saw Joe McKnight play in the Dome and he ran a punt back, ran a kick back, both were called back, but it was 75 yards of, oh my God, you're better than everybody else. Yeah. Harlan Berry is that same way of get him the football. And for LSU, we're spoiled in a sense of having running backs that come through the program that you're a little bit different. You've had that before. Harlan Berry has never been like that. LSU has never had somebody in that game-breaking mold at running back. It's always been a Leonard Fournette, a Charles Scott of we're gonna run it at you 30 times, and you at some point he's gonna break one. Leonard was different. Darius Geis was different. Yeah. He's a legitimate playmaker that LSU's really never had at that position. And I think it's at this point with Caden Durham, it's almost a luxury. But because of the way that the running game and maybe the pass game is kind of developed, it's something that you have to get on the football field because when you see him play, it's, as Brian Kelly said, it's worthy of a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you've got kind of a guy that probably when he's recruited, when you get the 24/7 or the rivals thing and they just put athlete, they're not really they're well, he can play several positions, but we're just going to call him athlete. He's kind of got that. It's almost when I was watched that play over and over, I thought, man, it's obviously the Adrian Peterson thing is just because the first time he ran the ball, I was like, wow, this is weird. But it's kind of a little bit what we had at Oklahoma with Joe Mixon, where it was this is cool, man.
I can see that.
Put this guy in the back. We can put him out here. Let's put him in the slot. Why not? You can catch the ball. And I think, if you're LSU, obviously you don't want to burn it too early.
Yeah.
But being able to put him in spots, and a defensive coordinator is going to pull his hair out.
Yeah,
Of course.
Because it's like, well, where's he at?
If they don't know yet, they're going to find out.
Yeah.
He's different, man.
Yep.
And at that first step, I was telling Noah, that first step is so fast that it really puts the defense on their heels. And I think it's going to be really interesting week 8, week 9, what that potentially looks like, how much he's incorporated into the offense. Does he turn into something where, you need a spark?
Yeah.
You need a spark guy. Hey, what are you going to do? We don't know. We're just putting the ball here
And see what
and let him figure out what he wants to do with the ball once he gets it.
Yeah.
It's a really special thing for LSU to have.
Exactly. And I know that it's like blaspheming almost to bring up Reggie in the same vein, but that run that he did, I know it was against Tech, but this was also against Fresno State. That Reggie drop step that he has, that dead leg move, like Harlan Berry has that. Yeah,
with the one sleeve?
Rip it off. Put it behind the back.
Nah, for real.
But Harlem has that, like that
Yeah.
that little shake you can't teach, where it's just innate instinct.
with it.
You're born with it, like playing in the backyard.
Yeah.
And
It's what they say is in them, not on them. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
For real.
And so that's what it reminds people of, and it should. But then there's the expectation that comes with that when you get compared to Joe McKnight, Reggie Bush, and once this starts to happen and matriculate, and then he gets stopped, like people are going to realize, like, oh, from both sides, like, oh, you stop Harlan Berry, and it's like they're going to start circling him. But LSU has enough playmakers outside to where he should be a luxury as opposed to have to carry an offense.
Yeah,
but he's special.
He's not in the same situation. We obviously talk about Arch, where that's like going into the year. I mean, I knew he was highly recruited, but he wasn't the guy everybody was talking about, on the team. I think that's a great spot to be in as a young player, where it's like, hey man, just go play football, just go have fun.
Yes.
No expectations. We're not putting any pressure on you. You're a freshman.
And people can't wait to see him. People can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
that's
Flores.
the thing. There's expectations. Just like when he gets on the field, they're like, that's Harlan Berry, 5-star number 1 running back in the country from New Orleans.
Last time that happened, what was it?
Leonard Fournette.
Right.
And those expectations were totally different because snap 1, week 1, game 1, Wisconsin, he was back at kick returner.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
And where,
go
what
do
number?
7. They don't give it to
freshmen.
freshmen. That was you're everything.
Yeah.
And it was as soon as the game was kicked off, like put him a kick returner.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have an identity. Leonard was what you were going to run off of, and he did it for 3 years. But Harlan gets to ease into the situation. So it's like if this was 2016 LSU, Harlan would be wearing 7.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will say he's one of those athletes that down the line.
Yeah.
He will
Book it.
get. He'll get 7.
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah,
He'll be in it next year. All right.
I got one question.
Yeah.
Because how did LSU get the name? Like, where did Death Valley come from?
Sure. That's what it's been known as far as I've known it.
My entire life.
Is it a history lesson on, or is it just one day somebody said it and
opponents'
it's
dreams
like
come
the
to
legend,
die.
the legend lives? And
Yeah.
That's
where
what
quarterbacks
I'm
go
sure
to
there
die.
is a
this is
history
where
to
quarterbacks
it.
go to die. Okay.
It's just you look at like with Clemson when they roll out Death Valley, they tell you this year we started calling it this because of this, and LSU it's just kind of like I'm sure there's more to it, but it's just more like
This
it's
is
just
what it
and
is.
the tagline it's where opponents' dreams come to die. Because like it's loud, it's raucous. The play like 2022 LSU Alabama where it was just
Crazy.
essentially an earthquake, like it seismic meter like picked it up because it's just opponents walk in and it's just different. It's from start to finish. We were talking about in the game, and I'll let y'all know for tonight. Like, open that door up because if you're still in here, you're not in the stadium. Like, if it's a 3rd and 5,
You're gonna hear
Florida's getting up on the line. It's going to be here, and then when that false start happens or they call a timeout, like
And it
through the
doesn't
roof,
stop.
and it does not stop from there. And my most exciting part for tonight is the fact that LSU fans have not had. You get loud when the defense is on the field
Right.
more than the offense. It's pop.
Yeah.
Defense. It's from first down to when they're off the
Yeah.
field.
It's on the crowd.
And
You
now
ain't got to stop when the defense
yeah.
on the field.
and now LSU has a defense, so you're going to get fans that are excited to sit and scream and yell while
Stand.
Harold Perkins, Mansour Delane, and these guys just go out and ball
I'm
out.
telling you, the first 3rd down, and I've seen it happen a million times.
Right.
LSU's defense is right, and it goes from 3rd and 5, false start, 3rd and 10, timeout.
Yeah.
Now it's 3rd and 10, everybody's
Places
up, and then
shaking.
they're
Yeah.
going what?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? And then it's sack. and now it's 4th and 23, and LSU's on the field. Like then you get a special teams return.
Yeah.
Like when LSU was special, and they have all of these pieces in place like they do right now with Xavier Thomas returning punts. Like that's when big plays happen, and you put your offense in the short field or score a touchdown. Those wristbands are going to be gone city.
Yeah, they're handing out LED wristbands to the fans tonight. Because like to do like a live show and everything. They put it to the beat. We set it off last year and it was awesome.
As if they need
They did what song they do last year? Yeah. We're in Baton Rouge, baby.
And then you have Bill Franquez go on the PA because they start throwing them on the field.
Yeah.
He's like, please do not throw the bands on the field. LSU will be penalized.
And then they throw more.
They throw more on the field.
Well, it creates an atmosphere that
it's chaos.
It makes you make mistakes as an offense.
1,000%.
I was trying to draw a comparison to it when we were putting the notes together, and I can't find a college football comparison to it where they can make you make mistakes. Maybe the horseshoe up in Columbus, but the only thing I can compare it to is the Coach K days at Cameron Indoor, where it would get so loud, they're on you. It feels like that thing seats 50,000. It's a very small arena.
Oklahoma State is crazy too.
Oklahoma State,
bro, they're on there. Oklahoma, I mean, same way. Like,
we're not on you. Oklahoma State is on you.
Bro, the sideline's probably no bigger than this table.
Yeah, it's
legit. Like,
that's how Florida is.
They're on you, so you feel it. Like if they're like that, it feels like the crowd is part of the team. Like it's crazy.
And that's the thing about LSU is it's not constructed in a way where the fans are. It's just. That's what it is.
Yeah, you've got 100,000 people that want nothing more than LSU to win.
Like the light show that LSU has now, fans were like, no, we don't want that. Like that's manufactured. We don't want any of that.
Bring our own
light show. Like, we don't want
authentic.
We don't want any of that. Like no PA music. Like we have the band, we got the fans.
Whiskey.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's do questions for an LSU fan. Questions for an LSU fan. Obviously, we asked this a little bit. But we'll get you two guys to give us each of us. What's the most unforgettable LSU game you've ever witnessed and why?
Most unforgettable I've ever witnessed.
Unforgettable.
I mean, the list.
Good or bad?
The list is long. Yeah, it could be good or bad.
I
guess we could do one of each. I would say, and it's funny, like for me, 2022 Alabama. Where I felt like, LSU that season, they already had 2 losses going into that game. They get embarrassed by Tennessee in Death Valley. They lose game 1 to Florida State, and it just didn't feel like there was much going. And LSU starts to get some rhythm. Jaden Daniels is figuring it out. And I felt like the AP put LSU at number 10 just because, like, you want a top 10 matchup, LSU. And then LSU scores the first touchdown. John Emery high stepping on the sideline, gets in. Place goes crazy. And it's 7-6 at halftime. And then the second half, shots start going, Jaden Daniels, and then kind of the way it went from game 1 to that game where game 1 against Florida State, you drive down the field, last second touchdown, miss the extra point, lose the game. LSU, Alabama 2022, overtime, LSU scores a touchdown. It's either extra point tied up, go for 2, win it. And Kelly had been burned by extra point game 1. You know what? Go for 2. A play they ran a million times where it's a zone read. Daniels rolls. Mason Taylor leaks out. Boom, touchdown. Place goes crazy. Rush the field. And that's the only time, like, to me, LSU should never rush the field. It should never be a surprise that you won, that you rushed the field. That game was the only time where I was like, you know what?
It's the only time I've ever rushed the field.
Right.
And it wasn't like I've been to LSU games that have been like the one that always lives rent free in my head is the 2007 LSU game against Florida because of everything that it was built up to be, what LSU had to do, come back to win. You force a turnover from Tebow, get a pick, and then you go for it 5 times on 4th down. You fake field goals. You have to do almost everything because you knew how good that team could be. Yeah. And it took everything to beat a Tim Tebow. Like that's how good he was at that time. You had to kill Superman, and LSU was able to do it through whether it was sheer just being unpredictable and like who goes for it 5 times. Like what are we doing here? Playing Ryan Perrilloux and running the short side option, like what they did in that game. And then you have the announcement, like I talked about, the USC Stanford score. It feels like, LSU's going to the college football, like they're going to the national championship, and then they go into lose Kentucky. But that didn't matter. Is at Kentucky? But but LSU, like that was one of the seminal moments of. It'd been since 2003, and LSU had been on the doorstep 2005, 2006, one of the best teams that didn't get to, like you talk about your team that only lost one game. 2006, LSU, when they played the Sugar Bowl against Notre Dame, it's like, this could be the best team in the country.
Yeah.
And then you have 2007, you come back, you lose the number 1 pick. Jamarcus Russell leaves, insert Matt Flynn. And then it's like, oh, but you're returning everyone else.
Right.
And so LSU is able to win that game. And it just felt like this launching point of there's seminal moments in the season where you go, this is a national championship team. And that was one of those for me.
I'll say another one, 2019 LSU Texas. This is just one play, not the game. The game was excellent. It's just one play. It's 3rd and 17. Our entire life as LSU fans, we've been trained. Hand the football off, punt the football, short field, play defense. That's what it was from the day I was born until 3rd and 17 against Texas. And you saw, they're throwing the football, and then it's Burrow, Jefferson, stiff arm, 6, and it's like you saw God almost.
Yeah.
Like where am I? What is this world I'm living in? That team's gonna win the national championship.
I didn't know she could get on top.
Like it was just completely changed. Where like even the Georgia Southern game 1, like it's Georgia Southern, but that first drive, tempo offense, spread. You're not just handing the football off. Burrow threads the needle.
Jamar in a minute and 20 seconds.
Like
that hasn't happened.
It was like seeing the light. Like it was unbelievable. And that 3rd and 17 play really to me is the changing of the guard of LSU Stone Age football to spread offense, what it's become. Quarterbacks, 2 top Heisman quarterbacks, top 2 picks, and now Nussmeier on that. Like that is when it changed. It was 3rd and 17, Texas in Austin. Go win the football game, 3rd and 17 touchdown.
And it's funny you say that because now we're like, bring back the defense.
Right,
That was fun.
Yeah.
But LSU, it's like everybody is almost coded here in Baton Rouge to root for defense.
Yeah.
Because that's what you grew up when it was
it's in our blood.
the golden era of LSU football. It was LSU's got a defense. And it was almost like a point of pride the last few years when LSU's defense wasn't good. Like the Heisman quarterback's nice. Like all of that's cool. The high flying offense. Like I'm almost embarrassed to show up to a football game. Like we can't stop anybody.
Yeah.
It's like it's a Louisiana thing. It's like hard-nosed football, effort, grit, all of that. And then the athletes that you have, it's what happened.
Right.
And now it feels like you finally have that back. And they just take a little bit more pride in LSU having a defense.
So
How
this
many
is
transfer guys that they have in?
Oh, huge.
18,
a lot.
17 or 18.
That's really not bad.
And but the thing
compared
is,
to like North Carolina, right?
Right,
USC, Bill Belichick has 72 new kids.
Yeah.
so
like
wild.
LSU's good in that standpoint as far as like they have some guys who's been up under this program who knows
Still recruited it.
Yeah.
right? Who from the time that they graduated high school, from the time that now they're building with the program. They're not coming from other places trying to. So that's also good as well.
But and LSU has a national brand identity of like Mansour Delane said it when he came from Virginia Tech. He's like, I was going to one place. He's like, I know what LSU football can do for me. And it's like, it can help get me to the league, but I know DBU. Like that's what LSU has been called forever. And it's like, I get to go play under Corey Raymond. I get to go play in a defense that will highlight my skill set. And it's LSU has that ability to like go, you say 18 is not that many because you get to hand select them.
Yeah.
You get to go pick once they started to pay. It's like, why would you not want to come be a part of this?
Right.
Yeah. So this is a tough question. You can only have one. LSU greatest player of all time. You only get one. LSU football.
Dang. I mean, it's
Cannon played both ways.
There are so
I knew this was gonna, I told Noah he's gonna say Cannon because
the old heads.
The old head.
It's
listen.
definitely an old head.
Listen,
It's definitely an old head.
Not technically my answer, but like I understand it because like if you go back and look, he's famous for the Halloween run.
Yeah.
And he returns the punt for a touchdown. It's Halloween and Cannon Blast. Like it's a part of the anthem.
Yeah.
But people don't know is he was on the 4th down stop when Ole Miss was trying to score on 4th and 1. He's the one that makes the tackle. Like he's playing both ways. Hard-nosed Billy Cannon's a part of what Louisiana is.
Yeah.
And that's why it is my answer. But I can see from what I actually got to see, you could go a million different ways. But yeah, like he said, Odell, but I mean, Tyrann Mathieu for me, Patrick Peterson for me, just because it was such a huge part. And then Joe Burrow, obviously what he did, but
William
the guys that stuck it
Cannon,
out.
August 2nd, he's a Leo. Played running back 6'1", 210.
The first Heisman winner.
Went to Broadmoor High School.
Right. Like
number 20.
No, only one
It's
ever.
retired.
Right there.
Yep.
That's his helmet he was wearing.
I mean, to me, it's Burrow.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say Burrow.
What happened that season? The changing of the guard, the domination of that team, and like
We were starved,
it can
brother.
be attributed to and that's the crazy thing. Even if you look at him in the league, it's one player. Coach O, he was a great coach, rah guy. Really, if you just look at his LSU tenure, it's Burrow.
It's Burrow.
That's why he always points him out.
Right, because that's what it was. And he was one of the single most important players ever. And it's just for me, to go to my age again. 2003, didn't get to witness that national championship. 2007, didn't really get to witness that. So my first memory was January 9th, 2012, crying on the couch when LSU didn't cross the 50 against Alabama, 21-0, loses in the Natty. And so it was
we don't have
seven long years of remembering that, not getting back there, and then 2019 just Joe Burrow, and I'm forever indebted to number 9 in purple and gold.
I love Joe. Joe would be. It's a lot of great players that came through here.
Right.
Yeah. It's hard to
pinpoint it.
One, right? So, but when you do look at it, obviously, you could probably say it may be an old head. At the end of the day, it may be one of the guys who played before our time. But when you speak on Joe Burrow, and I tell people this all the time, he's my guy. I'm a Burrow fan. I might leave LSU with a jersey today. I am a Burrow fan. So when you speak on I'm totally in agreement with you. Watching this kid play from the time that he won a national championship here to the time I've been watching him in Cincinnati. I just love the way that he plays, bro. I love the swagger he plays with. So I love the ice in his veins. He's not scared of pressure. He's the only one who's really beat Patrick Mahomes. So when you come to you got the Lamars of the world, don't get me wrong, like in the NFL, you got Josh Allen, but it's just something about that boy Joe Burrow, man. It's just a tad bit different. Man.
And I saw a superhero comparison about top NFL quarterbacks the other day, and it was you've got Mahomes, who's Superman, you've got Lamar Jackson, Spider-Man, and then you got Joe Burrow's Batman. He can't fly, he has no webs he can shoot out. It's just literally
my brain,
who he is, and
damn near Iron Man,
right?
Damn near once he put on that uniform, he got that suit on, he turned to somebody else for real. And that's why I love about Joe Burrow. He stayed cool, he stayed calm.
Yes.
He like I said, bro, Joe Burrow is my guy, bro.
It's hard to be cool.
I would start my franchise with Joe Burrow.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
any day.
And it's hard, and I try not to be too just fanboy and just be. Joe Burrow, he's the coolest guy I've ever witnessed in my life.
Yeah.
The way he walks around, the way he plays, all of it.
Swag, bro.
He's awesome, man.
He's confident in himself.
Confident.
And that's what it takes whenever he came in and to change the culture of LSU, because that's why he's and I get it, I lived it too. LSU was starved for quarterback play. I remember the first time he played in 2018 against Miami, and we had never had a quarterback audible at the line in the last 10 years. And he was when he changes the play. It was he's changing the play. And changed play touchdown, Nick Brissett on a 28-yard touchdown run. And it was we got something a little different here.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to 2019 where and you have UCF, when he gets
when he gets knocked out, pick six.
No reason to play. Gets knocked out, spit on, stands back up and throws 4 touchdowns. He's oh, you're that dude. And then he comes back in 2019 and starts a fight against Texas. You're okay. And then it just was this
starts
moment
a fight
of
with Patrick Queen.
LSU really hadn't had a quarterback. Yeah, he fought in the offseason against his own linebacker.
Patrick Queen's an all-pro player.
He went right at him.
Or you have the tape that you put out before, talking to Mike Divinity. It's alert. They have team leaders, offensive, defensive practice. He's we about to get in that ass, Mike. You better get ready. It's this is what a leader looks like.
Right.
And LSU had not had that at the quarterback position that way. Yeah. And so that's why everybody here is what can you do?
Yeah.
Well, and one of the biggest pieces of content that our college football shows ever put out is we said the 2019 LSU team is the first team that the conversation could really be started of, is this better than 01 Miami?
Yeah, and it is.
And it was the most heated.
It's just too early to say now. That's the only thing. It could be.
It was the most heated discussion we've ever had in the comments of people where we were saying, we're not saying who's better. We're just saying that the conversation has now been started.
Yeah, it's a real conversation.
We're not talking about 05 USC. We're talking. This is the first team that came along, 2019 LSU, where I thought they could give 01 Miami problems.
Yeah.
And that was a hard thing for a long time when you were like, this is a team that like Jason Taylor had to play special teams. The guy's all pro in the NFL and play special teams on that Miami team. So, you know, it was just it was something special. I think he's probably, you know,
How
LSU
brutal
football.
was that to watch in 2019?
Yeah, the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
When was it over?
It's not over. It's like
when you were watching the game, when we were like, "Oh, this I don't need to be here anymore."
You and there's been a few times as an Oklahoma fan where it was. I get to be lucky enough to say there's only been a few times where we watched the game and really early you went, we don't have it.
Yeah,
like we just don't have it, and we didn't have it, and it's not. It's as a fan, I actually think that was easier than thinking you're in it the whole time. Yeah. And when it's over and you just go, you know, it's been a good season, guys. It's been a good season.
Who y'all playing?
Who is our quarterback?
Who were you talking about? Oklahoma, right?
Yes.
Yeah, LSU.
LSU 2019. They played the playoff.
They played Peach Bowl 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
the semifinals.
65 to 24.
Okay, that's what's tripping me out.
24.
Yeah.
2019 Peach Bowl was a Final Four.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's tripping me out. It was a New Year's Six Bowl when I was there.
It was the semifinal.
Yeah. So it was super early, and you just thought we still have it, and it's okay. Like we don't have it. And we had really gotten spoiled because we'd gone basically 2015 all the way up where you felt like you were in it.
Right.
You score with anybody.
Yeah. Baker runs out of time. We lose to, you know, Alabama. You know, that was kind of where we were at. But, you know, the team was just built different. Game day rituals. We've experienced a few of them the last 2 weekends that we've been here in Baton Rouge. But if someone was going to come visit for a game, you know, there's this group. I've got a couple of guy friends. They do this like, we're going to do one game, you know, every year. They travel and stuff. What is an absolute must-do tradition on game day in Baton Rouge?
Oh, I mean, obviously tailgating. And that's the best thing. I don't know if Florida, whatever LSU's rap is, and like you said, it's not good in the public for LSU fan base. Pre-game tailgating, you will get treated like no other. You can be from Saudi Arabia, Canada, Oklahoma, New Mexico. It doesn't matter. You will get put under the wing and be like, this is how we do it here. You get food, drinks, anything that you want. You could, like I said, you total stranger, you'll be treated like royalty. That's what LSU does well. Like that's the Louisiana kind of mindset. And so for that, like we have a tailgate, the party box. It's right there. You could spit on it from here, and you be able to like get that kind of home atmosphere of what it feels. And this is what I say transcends people from being I'll go to an LSU game to an LSU fan.
Yeah.
Like the
atmosphere.
atmosphere.
I'm going to leave here tonight a fan.
No doubt.
It's hard.
Like, the atmosphere is unlike anything else. I'd love to get in the stadium early and be able to like just take in uniform, all of that stuff, and be able to be a fan. But I mean, if you've never been here before, you got to go see Mike the Tiger's a live tiger.
Right,
here.
live tiger.
I've seen him earlier.
It's wild.
That is wild.
I think you just
said
said
he lives in like a $2 million home.
Yeah.
No Tigers.
His habitat is like worth $2 million or something. It's crazy. He getting NIL money.
Yeah.
Victory Hill is awesome. The band comes down Victory Hill, which is the street right there next to Tiger Stadium. When the bands come down, you hear those 4 notes. There's nothing else like it in the world. Like you hear those 4 notes walking down Victory Hill. It's just those are just a few things. If you're going to come to Baton Rouge, you go see Mike. You watch them come down Victory Hill before the game. Before that,
all the players walk down. The band plays. It's just one of those college atmospheres. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Quick scoring update. Texas suck. Is this a real score, Jet?
That's wild.
It's 7-3. Going into the minute left in the second quarter, they're beating UTEP by 4.
Nice.
7-3.
UTEP.
Sark might need to get back on the bottom.
I don't know if it's that. I had a guy come in here early and said that Arch is going to be y'all's next QB next year. But even with that being said,
I've
been used to UT underachieving. This does not surprise me.
Arch is 4-14, 58 yards, 1 interception against UTEP.
And that's what I want to ask, because Sark went up on the podium and said that he is not hurt, no injury. I don't know if y'all have seen the video.
I've seen it.
I wanted to throw something at my TV when he said that, because I'm staring at a video of him throwing the ball and he's wincing.
He's like I don't know if he did it because it was a bad ball.
That's what I was going to ask you. You're like,
it came out bad. I was a little stuck in between, but I do remember Ohio State game. And I said this on my podcast as well. even during the game, he didn't look like he was ready.
Yeah.
I still seen a guy going out there warming up. I seen a guy rotating his shoulders and shaking his legs like
that should be done pregame.
That should be done bro. You're playing the number 3 team in the nation at their crib.
Right.
If you ain't ready when he kicked the ball off, bro, like what are you doing?
Well,
it's a lot of pressure on ours too.
Yes.
I will say that as well.
And you were a get a sweat going guy in pregame.
Yes, most definitely.
And I'm not saying that Arch isn't. I don't know what's going on, but if it's taking this long to settle in and you're 4 for 14, 58 yards and 1 interception against
UTEP versus UTEP.
I mean, come on, UTEP.
I know. I just
Nothing against that. But I mean, the most famous thing is
See what UTEP's up to.
I mean, the most famous things that have happened at UTEP was before they were UTEP. They were Texas Western. They beat Kentucky for the national championship.
Yeah.
We all saw that movie Glory Road.
yes.
But like, that's
Great
just
movie.
it's just bad. Fantastic movie.
But even like I said, bro, playing against UT has just been one of those schools that's just always underachieved,
Yeah.
bro. Like literally, like high expectations. College football is ready for the University of Texas to emerge, rank them number 1 off the rip. Like I don't think they should have went in the preseason number 1.
No.
Maybe I think they could have went in at
Yeah.
least 3.
Yeah.
I think
no,
maybe they're a better team if they don't go in with the amount of pressure
that
that they
wouldn't
have
fit
on them.
the
Texas
the
narrative.
agenda.
Yeah.
The narrative.
And
the
so
agenda,
they're very. He and I were talking about this. I think maybe in the car on the way up here. College football wants Texas to be good, just like the NFL wants the Cowboys to be good.
Exactly.
And it
the
is good.
exact same.
As just a fan of college football,
Right.
I understand it. It is good for the Longhorn, for Austin, Texas, for
Right.
college football. It is good for Texas to be good.
Yeah.
The problem is he played at a school, and I root for a school. We were never scared of Texas.
Yeah.
Never.
We could not be as good from a talent perspective, and
It still feel like we got a chance to
You're like,
go in
you know,
and beat them.
and we just hang
For real,
around.
I ain't gonna lie.
They're going to screw this up at
Yeah.
some point.
And they don't think that about themselves, which
No,
is why they're
oh,
so
no.
gettable.
Yes.
It's like, oh, TCU
Yes.
come to town.
Yeah.
Like I've been to like what Austin City Limits or like a music festivals in Austin, and they're playing football and nobody knows what's going on. Like
Yeah.
there's nobody going to the stadium. They're like more interested in the music culture.
Yeah,
than
it's trying
they
to
are
hit 6th
watching-
Street. It's trying to hit 6th Street. What we doing
Yeah,
on
exactly.
6th?
Get a
Oh,
little
God.
weird. And I'm the type of person that I remember I recorded the LSU Auburn game and turned my phone off. Like LSU was playing at Auburn, Brandon Harris's first start, didn't need to watch it
Yeah.
because it was like 40-3. Brandon Harris throwing into the stands. But like I'm so like they don't have that passion.
No.
They just
Yeah.
expect it to be kind of given to them, and they
Yes.
continue to get that grace.
Yes.
And then last year was good, but they still didn't think it would like throw Quinn Ewers under the bus.
Yes.
Like he was a very highly rated to Ohio State as a high school senior.
Yeah.
Comes to Texas, they're like, well, I just wait for Arch to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
and
4
I-
for 14.
We got
4 for 14.
crucified.
That's brutal.
Crucified for saying this thing out loud that all of college football fans that are not fans of Texas said, if Arch is that good, why was he not playing last year against the guy who got picked so late
In the 7th
in
round.
the NFL draft?
I don't know. I just
That
I
was
look at
just
it
a
as
question.
I look at it as coach. It's definitely a question, and I think Steve Sarkisian. I don't necessarily think he handled it right last year with throwing Arch in certain situations because the starting quarterback wasn't doing his job. I'm not even gonna say wasn't doing his job because Quinn Ewers, they were never out of a game with Ewers. So when he put them in, they was just playing bad. They were still in games with Ewers playing quarterback.
Reminded me a lot of Colt McCoy, except
Yes.
for that Colt.
Yes.
Colt probably overachieved at
Oh,
Texas
absolutely.
compared to what he
Colt
had.
McCoy had, he definitely.
He was.
I agree.
Yeah.
That time since Alabama, since Alabama rolled
Hell yeah,
over
that was
Texas,
me.
rolled over Texas in what, like 2012
12?
or
13?
10
No,
or something
no,
like that.
it
When
was
Colt McCoy
9,
messed up his
9.
shoulders,
Yeah.
2009.
Colt
Texas
McCoy.
has never been the same since.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the Vince Young.
Yes.
yeah.
Texas had, but Colt McCoy actually was a great, like, somebody that came into his, like, being a successor of Vince Young. He came in and still filled the mold.
Did a good job.
Right, he did a great job at the University of Texas, having Mac Brown as his quarterback, and then
He was
he
Texas.
had great talent as well around him.
Still
Yeah.
playing at the NFL. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
So-
still
Right.
It's,
on a
it's,
roster.
it's just UT is just
No, just they get the, I guess, the benefit of the doubt more than
Yes.
they should.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
it's just like, what if I understand they went to the college football playoff last year, but they also get the benefit of look how they scheduled them coming into the SEC, where they have the lightest schedule of
Right.
two
anyone.
years in a row.
Right.
Yes.
And then Florida has to like
You got a gauntlet.
Gotta go through the
and Billy
trenches.
Nature's like, I'm just trying to fight for my life.
Gotta
You know,
go
gonna
through
give
the
me
trenches.
this? Like, I'll put DJ Lagway in as a freshman and then rip off a couple straight. But it's like there's no breathing room in that
No,
schedule.
yeah.
And Texas gets UTEP.
Yeah.
UTEP. And,
So I
and,
get it.
and they're winning 13-3 right now.
Yeah,
So
and they'll get away with it. And then by the end of the year, maybe Arch is taking that step. But it is. That's why I'm
and-
done with the preseason polls
and I
because
said this the same thing I said about Nussmeier. I try to give these QBs grace because it's not easy. It's a
Right.
ton of pressure. And Nussmeier's this is his second year as a starter. This is still Art's first year as a starter. So to have that amount of pressure on you, but I mean, we all expected. I mean, we all had expectations of Arch being good,
Right.
at least. I mean,
But that's
we
because of
never pictured this. We
that's
never
because
pictured
of the
this.
national narrative. Like he hasn't done, like he hasn't really done
he hasn't
anything.
done
And that
anything.
you talk about this all the time. Like Arch is like, I don't deserve
the
any
first
of
one to say
this.
it,
Like
right.
I haven't played yet.
Yeah.
And then it
I
was
hear
just
you
so-
there,
Yeah.
but then stop doing commercials.
Well, no, I mean you got to get your money where you can. I
Like,
mean, it ain't
yeah.
football.
And we said the same thing about Baker
Sunglasses.
Mayfield, bro. Baker Mayfield had
Hey, hold
more
on now.
commercials than
Hold on a
wins.
second.
Don't do. I see.
The check
I
is
see
cashing.
Baker on more commercials than anything I've ever seen in my life.
He was
Right.
living in the stadium.
Yeah, right. With his girlfriend. He
Yeah.
put his wife on. So it's crazy.
So we just got a question: is Clemson losing bad for LSU long term? And then we'll get into predictions for the game.
I would say long term, no, because LSU's playing an SEC schedule. So
I was just gonna
if you
say
run the gauntlet in the SEC schedule, it doesn't matter what happened in the non-conference. I would say short term, definitely. Like I would say, like week 2 probably went as bad for LSU just from like the fan standpoint of like you beat Clemson, you're on cloud 9. Clemson struggles against Troy. You don't play your best game against Tech, and so then it's kind of like, well, is LSU actually that good? Like the questions start rolling in of what actually are we, you know? And so now going into seeing Clemson lose again, it's like, does that week 1 win really mean anything? Like,
Right.
are we actually as good as we think we
Yeah.
are? And I think LSU has an opportunity tonight to say, you know what? It doesn't matter what Clemson's doing
Yeah.
because we just took care of business against Florida. And in 2 weeks, you got to take care of business in Oxford against Ole Miss. Then you got to bye. Then it's South Carolina. Then it's A&M. Then it's Alabama. Then it's Arkansas. Like,
I
then
think
it's
it's
Oklahoma.
Brian Kelly, bro.
Speak.
I mean, bro, players play. That's one thing, but like I said, bro, I've been on a team where I was 4-8 one year,
Right.
and you bring in a different set of
coaches.
and here we are winning the Big 12, and it's like, well, damn, it's the same talent we had last year. Like Brian Kelly, to me, great coach. Don't get me wrong. But it seems like he hasn't done what it needs to be done to take the team over to like the next level. And tonight, I'm not saying like tonight could very well be what tonight could be. So like I'm hoping they go out there and like I said, they said it was more people here this week than it was last week. So
That's
I'm
for
expecting
sure.
a way better turnout. I'm expecting the energy from the fans. I'm expecting the energy from the
Oh
team.
yeah, tonight's gonna be on fire.
Yeah.
There were a lot of tailgates at 7 a.m.
Oh,
this
yeah.
morning.
Yeah,
I was like,
they start setting up on Thursday.
Yeah.
like, wow, this is a lot
the
more
buses
than
come
last
in
week.
and like you can feel when that like I said, when we feel LSU's right and they think they have a good team, like the people are going to show up. They show up regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a little different energy whenever it's good. But to your Brian Kelly point, I've been one of the bigger critics of Brian Kelly just because of the way he came in and what he did and how he didn't understand the culture, of what he had.
Yeah.
And then like Blake Baker was on your staff.
Yeah.
You fired him.
Yeah.
Corey Raymond was on your staff. You fired him. Like, so you have to go back and make all of these changes of things that were already here,
Yeah,
how
they were
LSU
working.
was supplanted. Like, brother, we don't change for you. You change for us. Like,
LSU's bigger than everybody.
yeah, we're a culture. We're a brand. Like,
Yeah.
you came here.
Yeah.
We didn't go to you.
You got to fit in.
Exactly. You fit in where you get it. And like, he was acting like we were lucky to get him.
Yeah.
And so he brings
And that's
in,
the energy
he has
gives,
that.
he gives
Right.
me that.
he has that I'm smarter than you. And then he
Yeah.
came to the South and was like, y'all a bunch of dumb hicks.
Yeah.
Like, let me show you how to win football games. Like, brother, we've won more than you have.
Yeah.
Like, so you should take this opportunity and learn from it. And it's taken 4 years for him to get it right, to go back and hire Corey Raymond, to bring Blake Baker back, to fire your buddy Polian that came in special teams, and LSU special teams were
Atrocious.
no, they were one of the best in the country
I'm talking about
forever.
Napoleon.
And then you bring in Polian, and you can't figure out who's going to catch off a kick. And it's, and are you botching
That's
extra
that
point?
nepotism. They start bringing in their
1000%.
start bringing in their homeboys that's sitting at the crib.
And
You
he
want to come coach
Yeah,
special teams for me?
big deal, cut. Like,
Right.
easy. Yeah, like, just to make sure somebody can catch a punt, you have to go get Jarvis Landry's cousin to come return punts for me because he can
Just fair
catch
catch
them.
him.
Just fair catch it.
Just for a catch.
It's crazy. And like to have that lack of, or I guess that ego,
Yeah.
Right.
where LSU was very much, if you get with us, we're good.
Yeah.
Like and you can see kind of how that's changing, where he feels like he's navigated. It took him way too long.
Yeah.
But he
But
figured it out.
Yeah, he feels like he's figured it out in the sense of bringing Corey Raymond back, bringing Blake Baker back,
Austin Thomas.
hiring a real, Austin Thomas, paying money to where it's like, you can't be frugal. Like, we ain't got much, but what we got, we're going to
What you got,
spend.
We can make it happen.
Yeah, this is bigger than anything in the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for you to take it flippantly and not treat the job as if it's like somebody wouldn't take the shirt off your back to have it,
Yeah.
like you in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
And so that's what you're kind of seeing now. And he's kind of carrying himself with a little bit more of fealty in a way of like, I'll pay my money, I'll do it.
What's
like,
the
I get it.
expectations for them though? Like for him to
It's national
continue-
championship
National
every year.
championship.
Yeah, for every year, but
Right.
his expectation for maybe,
I don't know what he thought he was
first of all,
getting.
winning the SEC championship first, right?
Right.
Trying to win the SEC championship and then going on to win a national championship. If he doesn't do that, let's say within the next 2 years, what are we looking at?
I mean, I think this year,
This year's huge
He's
for
in
him.
a
this
And
year
next
right
year's
here-
going to be even bigger.
right, well, yeah, because this. So the way I look at it, 2025, the reason they went out and they spent the money, they kept Nussmeier is because this is the year.
The year.
Like next year, you lose Nussmeier, whoever you unless you go out in the portal and get a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is their Ohio State.
This is-
last
This is
year.
exactly
the year.
that.
Same exactly.
And so like you need to like this is your national championship chance, but also if you don't make the playoff with this team, 12 like the way we look at it in Baton Rouge, 12-team playoff, LSU, you win 10
Mandatory.
games, you should be in it every year.
Yeah, man.
There should
Yeah.
never not
No,
be.
I agree.
If they expand to 16 every year, like you should be in it. And
Yeah.
so the fact that he hasn't done it, that when you look at 2023 in that season, national championship offense with Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., like, I mean, it's just an embarrassment of riches. The reason he didn't win was because he went and hired his buddy to be DC and it didn't work out, and those mistakes came back and bit him. Credit to him. He
No.
brushed it off, and he has made the right moves to get back to where it is now. So this season, I really think the national championship pressure is there.
Yeah.
But Brian Kelly at LSU in general, it's playoff every year.
And
Yeah.
I
And
think
it's crazy because, like, I think the guy at Alabama is kind of in the same scenario,
Right.
right? He's in the hot seat. Like, when you talk about being able to perform and being able to get these guys up to par, like, people want to see their team.
there's an
winning.
expectation.
There's an
Yes.
expectation.
And
if you-
Alabama unfair,
Yeah.
right? Like to follow Nick Saban, like nobody wants to be the guy after
Yeah.
the guy. You're the guy that came in and overachieved early,
Yeah.
right? You come in and win or be able to go to an SEC championship.
Right.
And I think he rested on those laurels, like, oh, I know what I'm doing. It's easy
Yeah.
here. Like, I got the talent. Like, people should love me. Y'all were
Yeah.
just said, I was watching y'all play in the Texas Bowl from the booth
Yeah.
with no quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I come in, it's like SEC championship.
Heisman quarterback.
And then it
Yeah.
regressed from there. He's got
Right.
like the years have gotten worse.
And
And
I've
so
heard
this was
Cam
a wake-up
Newton speak
call.
on, like, same thing you said, like, coaches that coach maybe independent conference or
Mhm.
Pac-12, or when they come to the SEC, it's not the same.
You got to
different.
answer.
It's not the same, and that's what I feel like
Right.
DeBoer is dealing with at Alabama, bro. Yeah, you won at Washington, but that's not going to cut it at Alabama, at an SEC school.
Yeah, they're both in uncharted waters.
Well, if you lose in Washington, like who's gonna really like? Ain't nobody
Right.
putting a for sale sign in your yard.
Yeah.
If you lose Alabama, they're gonna come knock on your door.
Yeah,
and what I'll say is like
they're knocking at his door already.
both at LSU and Alabama, there's a blueprint that's been laid out
Laid.
by
Facts.
Nick Saban both places.
Yeah.
Like Nick Saban laid it out at LSU in just a few years. Obviously, at Alabama did it for an extended period of time. And so when you're a coach and you come in and think that your way is going to be bigger than what's worked for decades,
Yeah, it's not
that's
gonna
when
happen.
you fail.
Yeah.
And so to me, Kelly had to readjust and understand, put that ego away a little bit and say, you know what, my way didn't work. Like you gave it a chance, didn't work. So I had to go back, and Blake Baker, like Lloyd said, didn't retain him. Didn't retain Austin Thomas, the now general manager. Didn't retain Corey Raymond, the now DB coach. And had to go back, right those wrongs, bring them back, and it's put you in the position you're in now.
well, just ask Lincoln Riley what happens when you decide you're going to strike out and you want to make your own name.
Right.
Right.
It's
Where is
like,
he at
well,
today?
They're playing football at some point at USC
Somewhere.
today. But, all right, before real quick, we got about 90 seconds here. Real fast before we get our score predictions. We are at Pro Dreams right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, pro-dreams.com. All the memorabilia stuff that you need, go check them out, pro-dreams.com. Real quick, boys, we got about 60 seconds to go around the horn. Score predictions for today, LSU versus Florida.
27-17. LSU kicks a couple field goals, takes the points when they need to, and the defense is real, and you'll be able to rely on that crowd, score, and play a fundamental football game that LSU is able to win at home.
28-13, LSU wins.
Even better defense.
I think the defense is going, like I said, the way they did Klubnik
I can't wait.
Death Valley Jr., I think they're going to do Lagway like that here at home. And I think the offense finds their stride and scores touchdowns.
I'm gonna go way out on a limb. I got 32-7.
I love that too.
I just don't see any way. Yeah, obviously LSU.
Yeah.
I just don't think Florida can put enough together. They haven't shown me anything on offense that they can get something clicking fast enough. And I think LSU, if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile, and they're going to make you look bad quick.
I'll probably say 24-21. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a closer game.
Usually
I think it's an SEC game. I'm not sleep on either team. You're talking about a Florida team coming off a loss, so I'm expecting them to come in here at least play hard and at least try to make it a game. So I say 24-21.
Love it.
One more time, big shout out to the boys. Thank you guys so much, Tingle and Co. You guys have been awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys.
Thank you to TCU and college football legend Trevone Boykin, our guy. We are Washed Up Sports. This has been the Tailgate Takeover. My name's Aaron. Hey, make sure to go follow Tingle and Co.
Thank
Guys,
you
go
very
follow
much.
these guys.
Like and subscribe.
Yes.
They are the heartbeat of LSU fans. They're the heartbeat of LSU football and LSU sports. They are the voice of the fans. Make sure that you go follow them.
Tingle and Co. Tingle, Courtney, Co.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't show up,
Yep.
so you see that 3 o'clock walk in. Hey, come on.
Get me on. Get me on.
Home and home.
Get me on. Get me on.
We will be live here in a couple of hours. Well, really, an hour and a half. We'll be back live. We're going to do a watch along for the LSU game. Hopefully, be able to see them stomp a mud hole in Florida.
Come on.
But if you haven't yet, make sure to follow us all here. Come by Pro Dreams and do some shopping for all your sports memorabilia.
Tigers.
Go Frogs.